Represento las calles de mi tierra, mi bandera, ay, mi bandera, Puerto Rico y todos los latinos, sonamos donde quiera.
What's up? What's going on? Buenas tardes, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well. I am your boy BX Sports Jedi Keb. Hope everyone's doing lock and loaded here on a Saturday afternoon. Yes, indeed, man. Let's go. All right. Let's lock in for a minute. This week in wrestling didn't just move fast. It shifted really quick for all different dynamics. Every major company made a statement, like it, whether you loved it, you like it, or question it. We're going to talk about it right here on the Sports Jedi Network. Raw got very creative. It was risky, and it learned its atmosphere was a little spectacular, not so much. We're going to debate that. NXT, New Year's Evil, deliver a little bit of shock and value with some real consequences. As we know that the men's world title is vacant, and it's in limbo. AEW, of course, continues to push its intensity with a Nights Out match that had the fan bases split down the middle and cream pied. TNA closes a chapter, and they leave the AXS TV ready to open up a new in a big world in AMC next week, and we're here to talk about that. And SmackDown went to Germany, and we crowned a new champion in 3 stages of hell. But we're going to be all locked in here on the Sports Jedi Network. But before more, we're going to hear from the voice, the one and only PGA Chris, who's going to help us break it down. Good afternoon, Chris.
Good afternoon. Yeah, dude, this was the first week of kind of pro wrestling of 2026 where, everything was live. Started the 5th with the Stranger Things Raw. I thought they started off the year hot. I think every company did, even AEW, in terms of, okay, whoa, like things happened. Something happened. At least one thing happened on every single show that is going to get people talking. I mean, you could do a whole review show on just one show, and there was something that happened that is going to take up a lot of your show because, like, whoa, like it's so worth talking about. So I think pro wrestling for 2026 this week kind of started out hot. And yeah, I'm excited to break it down. There were some things that I liked, some things I didn't, some things I questioned. And like Kev said, we're here to break it all down for you guys. First show like this of the new year, first weekly wrestling of the new year full. So really excited. I'm ready to get into it.
Yeah, man, we're definitely. Of course, this show is possibly sponsored by Dude Wipes. Dude Wipes continue to support the Sports Jedi Network channel and the community. So if you're going to enjoy the discussion, make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, and share with the stream with other wrestling fans from all over. Let them know what we're doing, and we thank you for watching us this Saturday afternoon here. And yeah, we're going to break it right down. We're going to get ready to, let's start off, of course, the beginning of the week with Monday Night Raw. It went Stranger Things, Monday Night Raw, Stranger Things from Barclays Center. First and foremost, a lot of noise came out after that show ended, but let's talk about the aesthetics. I thought, I was very excited. Of course, everyone, I think 80% of America or wrestling audience did watch Stranger Things. Whether you enjoyed it or not, or if you've seen it, you heard of it, you know how the phenomenon, the flavor of the month was Stranger Things because it was coming to a conclusion. The collaboration and the way WWE wants to dabble with movie films, with having their talents want to cross over to that big screen, whether it's The Rock, John Cena, Batista, and even some of the current wrestlers now signing with agency to possibly land movie roles like Becky Lynch. So I thought, you know what? They're going to hit it out of the park production-wise. And so they did. That introduction, when they show the city of New York City, and then they go into the Barclays, they turn it upside down to start it off where Corey Graves and Michael Cole come out of that van, the radio station van from the show. I thought it looked great. The show, starting-wise, production-wise, felt like a big budget, but then the in-ring and all the other wrestling that happened did not live up to the budget to me. Which match would you like to talk about Monday Night Raw, Chris? I'll leave that up to you.
I want to I will start with the women's tag team match. And real quick, before I do start with that, I'm one of the 20% of America that does not watch Stranger Things. After my eye appointment, I went to the eye doctor and got my eyes new glasses. I went to my girlfriend's house to watch it because she is the biggest Stranger Things fan in the world. So she was telling me what this is. The only thing I know is the radio station, the WSQ, because I bought her a t-shirt for Christmas. So that's the only reason why I know what their radio station is. But so she's explaining to me, she thought the production was really cool. So she, from somebody who's not a wrestling fan, and that's a big Strangers fan, she got intrigued and wanted to watch it. And she saw the production. I just want to throw that out there because that's another reason on why they're doing stuff like this. People like my girlfriend who just watches Stranger Things, she's like, "Oh, you know, Monday Night Raw, whatever." Like, so they did a good job on that part. But I want to start off with the tag team match, the Kabuki Warriors and Rhea Ripley versus Rhea Ripley and Io, because that match actually, I knew it was going to be a good match, but I kind of enjoyed it a little more than I expected. I thought it was something to get the show very, very, like, it got started. Like the crowd was hot at first. Obviously, it's the first show of the year, Stranger Things, and like you said, Michael Cole and Corey Graves come out and they kind of do like that Stranger Things thing. They do the entrances while they're walking to the ring. Like it was probably one of the, I think it was the longest match on the card tonight on that show. Maybe the main event, but anyway, this was pretty long, but it needed to be that because these four have been going at it for so long. And I don't see that these four having a WrestleMania match. Now, this was WrestleMania worthy, but I think they're eventually Io and Rhea are gonna lose those tag team titles, and then maybe they'll do something, whatever. But I'm happy that this match took place now because it made this show feel a little bigger at the beginning. Now, you can debate the winner because, you know, Rhea, it's like you could kind of see it like an Alexa Bliss and Charlotte type of thing where you're putting two of the biggest stars on the company and just putting them together as a tag team. But I actually don't view it that way because I think this makes the story was there. If you want to do something like that, the story has to be there. If you're going to pair two people up like that, the story has to be there. And the story's been there between these four for a long time, at least the last half of 2025. And it's actually been one of the most interesting ones. They started off one of the biggest shows the other week with these ladies opening up the promo. So, and they don't even, three of them don't even speak English right. So, and they put a lot into this. Obviously, you know, people wanted to see it, and it was really good. I actually wasn't too surprised the titles changed, just because, you know, this is kind of going to be like, okay, you guys beat us now, like Kyrie saying and Oscar, like, you guys beat us. EO, how could you? Like, now you're hurt. They'll win it back, and then we'll see what goes from there. But overall, I thought the match was good. I thought it was a really good tag team match. And I wanted to start off by talking about it because I know the last couple of years, not just us, you, me, but the whole world, wrestling world, has been complaining about the tag team women's championships and how they are, whatever. And since pairing Alexa and Charlotte together, I actually think the women's tag team title division has been pretty good, which I don't think we've ever really said that before. So this makes it more interesting, I think. So that's where I could see coming up. And look, I don't think Io and Rhea need world title opportunities. They don't need that right now. So this is a way to get them championships and also help a division that needs it. So this was well done and great opener to start off Monday Night Raw of the new year.
Very good. I am also happy that the tag team champions at Io and Rhea, and they're putting emphasis in the tag team division for the women. But here's an issue that I had to disconnect. I didn't feel so excited or enthusiastic to watch along this match personally. I don't know whether we were hosting the channel and making sure that the chat was flowing, having the conversation with our live community when we do our watch along, to making sure that from all different platforms, not just the YouTube, but in Instagram and all the different ones. And I didn't really put the great attention. Here's another reason why maybe I was thinking about it. Why didn't it really feel so? Why wasn't I so excited to a degree? Is because I seen the variation of these different ladies over and over a long course of weeks to fill Monday Night Raw or SmackDown. I mean, I've seen Asuka taking on Io, Kyrie versus Rhea. They so many different variations. See the ladies in the ring, whether they were teamed up with 8 women the week on Friday Night SmackDown. So I saw so much of that integration so many times them in the ring. Maybe I felt like I seen a little bit too much, and I should have felt a little more excited for seeing a change of the title. Degree to the degree, like you said, it was not a bad match. It felt the result. Like you said, I agree with you. It's kind of a WrestleMania worthy type of match. But again, when you see a lot of them again, it kind of disconnected me at that moment. Again, I'm gonna blame it maybe because I was a little preoccupied with our watch along, trying to get everything flowing production wise, making sure everything is heard well, the volumes of certain things that we could not play on YouTube. So I'll leave that to that degree. I don't want to sound like I'm putting so much negativity on that match. It's just for me, I wanted something to tell me I needed a little more. Just again, not a bad. Now, like you said, we're going to see now where the division goes. We have some more. We have a lot of other competitors, ladies. From the Alexa and Charlotte, which we're gonna see Friday night. Something is coming down the pipeline with a storyline and so forth. But again, pretty good matchup there. Another match I want to talk to, we're staying on the ladies, was the Women's Intercontinental title match, where Becky Lynch defeats Maxine Dupree, where everyone is saying of Becky, some don't like it, some do. Look, we don't know. Maxine got married over the holidays. When it comes marriage, sometimes they have to go on a honeymoon. Maybe that's her to take a break, although I don't think so. I think they're gonna postpone that. But I like the way they got the finish. Maxine was so hell bent on that finishing move and that ankle lock so hard and causing pain to Becky Lynch with all the trash talking that she lost track of her mind that her shoulders were pinned. And she's thinking that the referee's asking, or maybe not knowing that she was the one being pinned. For some reason, she blacked out. And I like the fact that she was so enamored in her finishing move, she blacked out, that Becky Lynch utilized her shoulders to the ground and also leverage with the rope, because it doesn't make Maxine look like a total geek for losing a title. She just blacked out in a moment of wanting to cause this lady who's talking so much nonsense, creating so much mischief, both outside of the wrestling community, in podcasts and so forth, and in wrestling. So I liked it, Chris. I thought that was a great way of protecting the wrestlers.
Yeah, I think the crowd wasn't as behind Maxine as they usually are. They were, especially when she won it in Madison Square Garden, which isn't really too far when you think about it. But I'm not surprised Becky Lynch won. She is the best person to have that championship. I mean, there really is no question. I still give her the props that she deserves for even giving Maxine the title. I mean, it could be for her honeymoon, but I don't know. I really don't think Maxine was going to hold on to that title for a long time anyway. Definitely not until the Royal Rumble. So, and my thing is this: why would you go and look? I'm not married. I probably have no right to say something like this. Why would you go on your honeymoon in the biggest time of your career? So, I mean, postpone it. Let's have a part 3, finish it, because this, Maxine working with Becky and her doing all this has been the best she's been in her career, and she has a real opportunity to keep going up, up, and up and do more. So I want to see her and Becky go at it again. And the way look, you bring up her doing the pot with Busted Open and LaGreca. I think that shit's entertaining, whether it's script real, fake, or not. Some of it probably started off as real and now it's not. Who cares? I think that shit is hilarious by Becky, because again, her bringing that Intercontinental Championship to like a Sirius XM Studios, and then her knocking in on Sam Roberts, like, what now? Like, that's good entertainment. That's good for Busted Open series, Becky, the Intercontinental title. So I like Becky as champion. Not just now, but I think, again, when I kind of had a complaint about it in the beginning, because my whole thing was, if we're going to introduce 2 new mid-card championships, which is what everyone wanted for a long time for these women, let's make it about the Lyras, the Chelseas, the Julias of the world. And then they gave it to Becky. Now I see why. because she puts over people like Maxine and elevates them. And, I was wrong. Because Becky's doing a great job, and she definitely deserved to win it again.
No, I'm with you because I had this same debate with Chef Dan. He wanted at that time for Bailey to be one of the first inaugural champions on the United States, and I was like, no, I want, like you said, the ladies that we don't know, like a Julia, like you said, like a Chelsea, so forth and so forth. And we see the value on one of those, why those ladies, because I should hold the title, because my thing at that time, they just finished coming off a world title. Now you're gonna hog them with the Intercontinental title. Well, there is a reason why they're elevating talent like that. And I didn't want to see Bailey to be elevating talent, although maybe that's what she is in her career. But I wouldn't mind that. And like you said, Becky's taking that torch and doing it. So she's doing a good job with it, because now when we want to see Maxine, what's next for Maxine? Is she's going to show that hunger? Everybody likes to bring the analogy of Rocky. We see it from all different walks of life, of all podcasts, with these parallel. Rocky loses the title to Clubber Lang. Now, what does Rocky do? He regroups. He finds an ally like a Apollo Creed and takes his wrestling skills to another level. Maybe Maxine needs to take that wrestling skill to another level to want to now one up Becky, although it's 3-1. If you look at if you're taking score or keeping score on their 4 matches, Maxine has the best 3-1. But we'll see where that goes. We'll find out where that feud goes with Becky. Everyone wants to see Natalya Neidhart in this feud or Natty. I'm gonna wait because we've been saying that, and it seems like WWE doesn't want to pull the trigger on Natty for some reason.
I don't know why, dude.
They talk about it each Thursday. It's like, oof.
And look, I wouldn't even mind if they do the rematch between Becky and Maxine. If you have Maxine surprisingly beat Becky for a second time, run her and Natty. I think I don't know if they should have done it before. I don't know. That's a tough one because I want to see the match, and I think Maxine having the title and Natty being that Natty heel, you wouldn't have that for me. I've been in this for a long time and I didn't even have an opportunity. Like, she'd feel a real grudge, some sort of maybe even jealousy to a degree. So that's why I want to see the story between Natty. I just want Natty involved in the mix somehow. If it's a triple threat, fine. If it's her interfering, fine. I think the next time these go at it, or these two ladies go at it, if Becky's going to win, have Natty go out there and cause Maxine. And then,
but we have to make sure we see as a WWE audience, like they like to say that they and one thing that I hate about it, and I would love for it to go away in 2026. If they're a wrestling fan, they're watching, but they have to kind of introduce us who is this Natty Neidhart. She just can't come out of left field and attack Maxine Dupree, and you're like, okay, I get it. You got to make sure there's some explanation. Vignettes, seen her in the corner working. They did a good job showing her in the dungeon, making Natty tap out. When they were rolling, but they need maybe they take advantage here where they're working with each other again. You lost. Well, we get why you didn't get you were locked in for whatever, some type of vignette where you see the Natty Neidhart character helping Maxine, and then if they want to play it off when they had that rematch, either a Saturday night's main event, because that's the place. To be honest with you, if I was creative or if I had an opportunity. Saturday night's main event is always known for some massive heel turns. Whether it's Paul Orndorff on Hulk Hogan, Macho Man and Hulk. You think of that deception heel turn always, or something on Saturday night's main event will be an awesome opportunity for Natty in Canada to turn on Maxine Dupree. Although they might get cheers for Natty Neidhart actually turning on Maxine, but that's not the point. We would like to see where that actually take place, and maybe something. And then Maxine wants to, hey, here's this. She turns on Maxine Dupree on Saturday night's main event. You have your number 1 and 2 for the Royal Rumble for the women. Natty Neidhart and Maxine. 2 minutes of them going at it there, and boom, you're off and running to the Women's Royal Rumble. If you've had creative booking, I would love to see that. But again, talk is cheap. They've been teasing Natty Neidhart. I've been hearing Natty on every Thursday at 11 o'clock. This is a cheap plug for you, Busted Open. Every Thursday, they don't need it for me, but my point is, every Thursday at 11, the Heartbeat with Natty Neidhart. I'm a big fan of listening to her. That's why I appreciate what she does with her students in the dungeon. You know, all the wrestlers are friends that we know, like Alejandra Leona, Janai Kai. Hopefully, she goes down there and work in the dungeon. Shout out to you, ladies. And Natalia's doing great stuff with TJ down there in Tampa. So I want to shout that out. Everybody likes to shout out negative stuff and talk about negative crap. Let's talk about something that's really positive for the wrestling world. Is that dungeon? You know, if you're hungry and you want it, those two are willing to, you know, take your skills to another level. So I wanted to bring that up there. I would love to see that, Chris, with that for the Intercontinental Women's title. We'll see where that goes for. But I like Becky Lynch holding that title. Another one. So let's talk about. Like, do you want to go to the main event, or you got any? Or because I don't. Oh, Gunther. I want to do this one. Gunther and AJ Styles. Now, breaking news. If you haven't heard, AJ Styles, which I've been saying here since November, for the premiere of AMC, and you can see all the and this is not because I'm here saying. I love about YouTube, it timestamps, it gives you the dates. I've been saying that for months. AJ Styles will be on the AMC premiere, and I even said Jericho. So it's all there. I'm not just making it up. Oh, he's just saying it because he heard it. He's copy and pasting. Bullshit. I've been saying it out of for months. It's there. Look at all my videos. Go back to October. You can see it. When the deal was announced that they were there, AJ Styles will be the first. Will be there. It makes sense. For, you know, Frankie Kazarian, when we interviewed him in September, wants that match. I don't know if Kazarian and AJ Styles is going to happen. I didn't say it, but I said it. AJ Styles will be on TNA for the world premiere on AMC this Thursday. So we'll be having the watch along here with us. And of course, you can watch along with us and react with AJ Styles showing up. He goes face to face with Gunther. And I was like, damn, Gunther's big. Gunther's only 6'4", but do they present him like he's like 7'8", like he's a Goliath. And I like that David Goliath with the visuals with AJ Styles and Gunther, Chris.
Yeah, I think this is what I think they could do here is I think some way, somehow in the Rumble, they could do an angle to where like either one of them eliminates each other and then they could have it at WrestleMania. Because if you like, we talked about this before, and you don't see, I know a lot of people don't see AJ Styles doing like a John Cena where 2026 is going to be his last year, meaning he's going to finish, you know, the entire year till Christmas. No, he could have his last match next week, 3 months, 6 months, December. So build this match up, and then if he wants to retire at WrestleMania, have this be the retirement match. AJ versus Gunther. I thought this was good though. I thought they had a really good face-to-face. I think Gunther is doing a great job of being a heel. Him beating Cena obviously elevates him being a bigger heel / jerk. And I wouldn't be surprised if he actually does win the Royal Rumble. So that's kind of why I'm keeping that in my back pocket as well. Because he's having such a good year, beat John Cena, is having a lot of retirement matches. I wouldn't also be surprised, and he lost the World Championship last year at WrestleMania. I wouldn't be surprised if Gunther also wins the Royal Rumble. That could be a possibility. But again, if they don't, have AJ eliminate him, and then he retires him.
We'll see. We'll see where that goes for those two. For the Ring General and AJ Styles, we were interested. We now AJ Styles is on wrestling. Like we want to see him now. We're gonna see him on Thursday. We're gonna see him on Monday. So now we're all eyes on AJ. If he's gonna go out of this is his final year. He's gonna go out with a nice bang on different networks and with companies that admired and love, you know, the phenomenal one. So yes, I love that to see there. Well, we'll put a pin on AJ because we're going to talk about him later in the show as well, a little more as we get to our TNA part of it in a moment. I wanted to give a little bit of some honorable mentions. The heel attack there from Raquel Rodriguez on Stephanie Vicaire. We saw her in that walking booth. I think she's a little banged up. I don't think she's completely where she needs to relinquish the women's title. You know, those walking boots. I've been in a walking boot. They are comfortable. You're not putting any pressure on the legs, but I like the fact that Raquel put some heat and breathing on Stephanie Vicaire's back or her neck because I felt it'd been too easy. My gripe or concerns or grievances is that Stephanie Vicaire has had it too easy from NXT to WWE. There was no reason to really care about Stephanie Vicaire. because there hasn't been no obstacles. Raquel, this might be a minor obstacles, but she feels like an obstacle, Chris.
I mean, yeah, she needs an obstacle because, like you said, she's kind of had it good, as you say, as they say. But yeah, it's a good honorable mention because I think Raquel is at a level now where nobody really expected her to, and I don't remember if I gave her the most improved wrestler or whatever or breakout whatever, but I know I gave it to Kyle Fletcher, but I could have easily gave it to her as well. So I expect this year to be pretty good as well. I don't think she'll win the world title against Stephanie, but again, great showings in big matches like this could determine the future and where you go, where the company sees you. So if she has a good match with her, which she will, she could definitely beat Becky for the IC title. Or her and Liv wins the world title and she fights Liv and wins it. A lot of possibilities for Raquel.
Speaking of Liv had a match against Lyra Valkyria. Good to see Liv Morgan back in the ring after her injury. A pretty sound, decent match there where Liv gets the victory on Lyra due to the Bailey coming in the ring with the chair, but then comes in, comes out. Lyra got distracted for a minute, took her eyes off the prize, got hit with Oblivion for the 1, 2, 3 for Liv. I like the way they protected. They didn't make they didn't make Lyra completely lose, cleanly. It was just that momentary of the distraction that could happen to anyone. You took your eyes off of your prize. Bailey was of your partner, and you got hit with a Oblivion from a crown jewel and a former world champion. So nothing there to look down on Lyra. I thought she still kept strong. I thought the match was really well sounded. Like you said, we're the women's division for the first time ever. The Royal Rumble, you don't know who's a clear-cut winner. You have no idea in the women's Royal Rumble who's winning. And I'm hoping, please, creative, do not have Stephanie Vaquer drop the title before Royal Rumble. I do not, for the love of Pete, want to see Stephanie Vaquer win the Royal Rumble. I don't. I'm sorry. I don't want. She's great. Let her hold the title. Too much, too easy. In less than a year, you're gonna get bored of her. People are gonna say, "Oh, they're gonna get bored. They're gonna call her Super Cena or Super Vaquer." I don't need that. I'm trying to protect the talent. That's all. I don't want her to get too much so quick where people don't have interest and not really gonna care about Stephanie Vaquer. I don't want that because she's phenomenal. Correct. That's why I don't want her winning the Rumble. Not that I hate her. No. I loved Stephanie Vaquer, the way she wrestles and do stuff. I just don't want too much too soon because the way the wrestling fans are so finicky. And so, that's all. That's all I'm worried about Stephanie. I don't want her to lose this title anytime soon because I don't need her to win the Rumble. That's just me. And again, the Royal Rumble for the women is up. And it's up and open right now. So we'll talk about that in a minute. Mm-hmm. Something that happened on the show that I felt a little bit, it was for us on TV, it was a nothing burger. But for the fans in the arena at the Barclays Center, I'm pretty sure those tickets were uber expensive to be there with the Stranger Things. We had the Usos come out, cut out a promo. They're willing to take on all tag teams from everywhere, anywhere. They want to show the best. I couldn't sworn at the peak when they were talking at that moment, my fandom came in, this is a great time for Med and Jeff Hardy to show up. But then I remember, as a content creator, as someone who knows, the Hardys were in Dallas doing media tour for TNA. They weren't going to be in the Barclays Center. And I go, shit, no, they're not going to be there. They're going to be at the Barclays Center. That would have been a good time for the Street Profits, which we haven't heard and seen to interrupt. Or, golly, where are they? Get them out of Fridays. The Motor City Machine Guns. That would have been one of the greatest tag teams in a professional wrestling against the WWE decorative tag team in the Usos. I don't need to see. We saw the New Day and the Usos. Great. Now we would love to see the Motor City Machine Guns with the Usos, or even the Motor Machine Guns against the New Day. Where are the Motor City Machine Guns? And if they're the next ones, let's go.
Yeah, no, Motor City Machine Guns versus the Usos would be a good match. I loved seeing the Usos back together. We'll see. They, not much here to talk about other than they just needed the tag team division needed something. They needed something, and Finn and JD weren't clearing it. They got other things to worry about, Judgment Day stuff. So this is the best for your division right now. I'm all for it.
Yeah, and that was just for the crowd. They did a few minutes of eating. Everybody got excited. That was just for the crowd at
Speaking
the
of
Barclays
just for
Center.
the crowd, oh my God, can I please talk about Javon Evans signing that damn contract over on the commercial break?
Beautiful
Even though
transition.
we saw it, look, we saw it, but again, not I actually didn't because I was watching after the appointment. I had watched the show in the projector, so I actually watched the American feed, and I didn't even know Javon signed his contract until I went on Twitter. I was like, wait, what? He like, because mind you, SmackDown, they did it yesterday with Jordan Grace. And I hate to jump ahead, but they're doing all these people signing their contracts on SmackDown, Trick, all this. I'm officially like, you couldn't have Javon go out there or something like Adam Pearce in the back and say, welcome to Monday Night Raw, kid. Thanks. Happy to be here. That's it. But instead, you did it on the commercial break for just the Barclays Centers to see and the international audience. Listen, Netflix, WWE, this is who you're supposed to be catering to, the American audience. And I'm not saying that to be greedy. I'm saying that because that's who your biggest audience is. That's where a majority of your shows are. I get it. You guys are going to overseas next weekend. The weekend, like, this was filmed Monday and Barclays next, for the next couple of weeks, they'll be in Europe and overseas. I get that. You want the overseas guys to know that Javon's on Monday Night Raw. Can you tell us too? We're going to be watching it. Some of us are going to be leaving work to come here and watch it. We're going to be here covering it and watching it with you guys. Can you tell us that Javon's going to be here? We pay for the Netflix service. Some of us pay more if we really don't want the limited advertisements, which is all bullshit anyway, because we still get it. I mean, I don't mean to, if this is something that I'm being too picky on, my bad, but they did it with everybody else. Signing their contracts, at least a backstage vignette, something, and they did not do it with Javon on the first show, the biggest show, Monday Night Raw, Netflix 1 year anniversary, Stranger Things. I hated that.
I'm with you, Javon Evans. That kid is dynamic. He's explosive. He's so many great words, so many things to say, and you gave him that international. I've said it. It's a business ploy because now you're getting fear of missing out, FOMO. Oh, now you know what? I'm just gonna pay the screw it. It's an extra $7, whatever it is. I haven't checked. I'll get the higher package premium. I just don't want to get the. I want to see. I don't want to miss out. If something happens, I'll pay the extra. It's the greed. That's a business decision. They want you to feel the way you're feeling right now, frustrated, to upgrade your package. Well, that's why we tell you, come watch along with us. Watch along with us on the Rumble app, where you get to watch the international feed with us on our watch alongs. You could watch it simultaneous with SmackDown while you watch Raw while you're watching it at home. But you could also that's why we ask you to watch along. Not only that, you could conversate with us on our watch along and react in real time with us. That's why we invite you and implore you to join us on our watch alongs. Yeah, it's not about watching two dudes watching wrestling or anybody just sitting there watching the stream. No. The reason why we want you to watch along is so we could react together and voice our frustration as the wrestling community or celebrate whatever situation happens. That's why we do the watch alongs. We know you could watch the TV at home. You could watch the stream at home, and that's it. But who are you going to react to? Your cat? He's going to look at himself and lick his ass and walk away. Come and watch along and react with us. We won't lick our own ass, but we'll kiss yours. As we move along here, Chris, look. We know it's all about business, Papa. We know it's about a business deal. That's all it is. It's all about a business deal. It's all about the business. Yes, Javon Evans deserved better greatly with this contract signing. He deserves so much better. He didn't deserve that there, my Papa. I didn't like it one bit. And you were right to rant about it. And this is another rant of mine when it comes to Netflix. All right, you want us to upgrade whatever. And you ask us about how is it going to be better. By the way, I think there's a class action lawsuit happening with the WWE and something along the lines with that. I don't have the information, but I heard there's some type of with ESPN and WWE with that direct to consumer situation, which I'm pretty sure is going to be the beginning of many things. But look, if your guy's going to be on Netflix and you're asking us, you're streaming, and I got to give this credit to when it comes to the TBS broadcast and All Elite Wrestling. And I said this time and time, if you're in the middle of a match and you're dying with your finger to hit that go to break commercial, production trust, give us picture in picture. How hard is it do you give picture in picture so the wrestling fan that's watching along at home still watches the action of the wrestling while you could still push the products that's advertising on your program in Netflix. That's simple. Just a picture in picture. If you want to throw us Pepsi, Coca-Cola, whatever, whoever's advertising Mere American Beer, the General, or anyone else, why can you not give us picture in picture on the streaming platform so we could see the match and not lose the essence of
CW
the
gives
in-ring?
us picture in picture, and I hate to cut you off, but
No, you're
when
right.
you talk about the CW giving us pictures in pictures for NXT and Netflix doesn't give you picture in pictures for Raw, like that sucks.
Yeah.
That sucks.
That's
I mean,
terrible.
look, it takes a look. This might sound complaining or whatever, dude. It takes away a lot of investment for some people. Like
Yeah. 'Cause-
if I'm watching, if I'm watching Finn Balor and JD, and they just did this cool ass tag team move to Jey Uso in a tag team match, and whatever. I'm like, oh, they're running. And then they stop, and Michael Cole goes, "We'll be right back. What's gonna happen?" I'm like, bro, what's gonna happen? And then they probably do it in the building for like, and we can clearly tell. Like when you go to a show, bro, you can clearly tell when they're in commercial break without even looking at the clock. You can tell because they don't do anything. They just do a freaking hold, and it's like, come on, like, give match commercial, match segment commercial. Do it after the matches or segment. If it's a long match, I prefer one long commercial or a commercial right in the beginning, like they did. Remember when they did it with Solo and Roman Reigns last year in the Netflix debut? They let that match breathe. They played a commercial break in the beginning of the match, and then they had the match go on for like 25 minutes. Why can't we do that we haven't had that since, really. In a big match, let's get stuff like that. Commercial in the beginning. And look, USA Network did a whole free last hour.
Yeah.
Last night for the 3 Stitches of Hell match. Come on, you couldn't really, you know what I mean? Like that just sucks.
Yeah, that's our gripe, and we'll talk about the main event, and because we want to move on to New Year's Evil main event, Braun Breaker, CM Punk, where we thought this was tailor made for Braun to win the world title, and lo and behold, he did not. Surprise, the match with Punk and Braun, and by the way, they started 10 minutes to 10. So I'm like, boy, they're really giving the Barclays crowd only a 2 hour show. They're really trying to wrap this up in 2 hours and 10 minutes. Ooh, like, wow. It was interesting to see that dynamic, the way they started that early. They went on for almost 25, 27 minutes of a match. Braun does not get the victory. Hopefully he was okay. He had a spot on the top rope when he goes for his Frankensteiner. I saw something looked weird before he even said it. I said, Punk's legs he has to be in the inside of the top rope. He was both legs on the outside, and it felt like his legs were the ones not allowing him to do the Hurricanrana or the spot there because his legs are holding. I knew Braun, it was a slippage. You could tell it was going to recipe for disaster. You watch the watch along. You could timestamp it when I said, I don't know if he's going to hit that Frankenstein. And boom, Braun landed on his head there. Hopefully he's okay. He tried it again. He got it because this time Punk adjusted and was inside the turnbuckle. Got it. But all in all, I'm interested on the result. Like, I wonder what their thought process, why Punk won and not Braun. It was because too many people was expecting it and they wanted to change the narrative, or do you trust them that they have a plan in store going forward?
I do. I do think Braun Breaker is the future of Monday Night Raw, and he's with a good group. He's surrounded by good people. I don't think this is going to hurt him. Essentially, I'm just kind of curious on what the direction is because I don't see Seth Rollins coming back now because there is a situation where, okay, if Braun Breaker beats CM Punk for the world title, could there be a possibility that we get Seth Rollins before WrestleMania to maybe go against Braun Breaker? But the real animosity here is between Seth and Punk. So if Punk keeps the title, are we still going to get Seth? So either way, we still can get Seth Rollins. That's why some people, I heard, if Braun Breaker loses, so that means Seth Rollins is out. Look, I'm not saying he's coming back. Like he's injured. He needs to get healed up, whatever. I'm not buying his busted open interview that he came in with Becky. Was like, oh, like, no, I'm gonna believe it when I see. I'm gonna make my own opinions and theories. I think there is a possibility he could come back before WrestleMania. So that's one. But let's say he's not. That's far fetching, as LaGreca likes to say. If you know, you know. And whatever. Let's say I'm far fetching. Okay, he doesn't come back. What are we really gonna do here? Are we gonna run? Could we run this match again? That's kind of where I'm leading at, and with the result, because either way, I mean, if you had Braun Breaker win, what could he do at WrestleMania? Maybe go. I just see them having this match again at WrestleMania. It is really my point. If Seth Rollins isn't in the picture, I don't know. I mean, if LA Knight comes back, do you see him winning the Royal Rumble and then going against whoever? Maybe I could have saw a scenario too where Braun Breaker wins, LA Knight comes back, wins the Rumble, maybe him in LA at WrestleMania. Like, I don't know. I don't know where they're gonna go with this.
Here's the thing that worries me. They didn't do that stupid WrestleMania vignette that they force feed us every commercial break where Brock, Roman, Cody. If neither one of those guys are going to be in the main event, I like the fact something different, something like you said, LA Knight, Braun Breaker. They weren't on the commercial, So to me, it's got to be one of those folks. Also, remember this: Elimination Chambers in Chicago. I thought that would be a great spot for Punk to win the Elimination Chamber.
Exactly.
But I think WWE wants to see Punk go in and announce as champion to the Elimination Chamber and walk out in Chicago with that title around his waist for the people in Chicago. So that's probably why they went with Braun winning. Now, who is going to be retaining for Punk? Not to me. Who is going to be Punk's opponent at WrestleMania to possibly win the Elimination Chamber? Unless if the Royal Rumble is going to be, like you said, LA Knight to challenge CM Punk for the world title. Now that's main event that would raise your eyebrow to want to watch. Does that mean someone who sends someone for the Elimination Chamber is going to be from the SmackDown brand to take on Cody or Drew? I mean, is Cody going to win the Elimination Chamber? It kind of seems like that because he's on the chase, as we find out later in the week. I don't know. It's still up in the air. I don't think they have a direction or clue where they're going. But remember that WrestleMania vignette has to be those guys in that vignette are going to be main event either night 1 and night 2.
No, yeah, you're right. Can we see him then?
That's the question. And that we'll find out. That we got Monday Night Raw will be coming out from Germany this Monday at 2:00 Eastern time. If I'm home early enough, because my first day back from work from vacation, we'll go live. If not, we'll go a couple hours when I get back there. We'll do it in its entirety. We're gonna move on to NXT New Year's Evil, but first we'll hear a word from our sponsor as we reset for a moment.
All right, quick break. Don't go anywhere. This segment is sponsored by Dude Wipes. Whether you're grinding through work, hitting the gym, or locked in for a full night of wrestling, Dude Wipes help you stay fresh. Simple as that. Portable, convenient, and designed for real life. And of course, this show is powered by the Sports Jedi Network, independent wrestling coverage, real discussion, and a community that actually knows the product. If you rock with what we do here, support the sponsors that support the channel. Now, let's get back to the breakdown. Take it away, PGH Chris and Sports Jedi Kev.
You're watching Jedi Sports Network with Kev.
You, Jody Threat, who joined us there. We appreciate her. We check out our interview with TNA's Jody Threat. Chris, let's go right into New Year's Evil. I was in the building in Orlando, Florida for New Year's Evil for the events. That night felt a little bit kind of chaotic. It felt weird because from the opening start, we were supposed to get the women's North American rematch with Blake Monroe taking on Thea Hale. The match didn't even start. I mean, Thea Hale comes out and Monroe blasts her from the back. All this chaos, all this there, and I think I told you the match is being thrown out, no contest, because we find out Blake Monroe was barred from the arena, just told to vanish. Let me ask this: is that the end of Blake Monroe in the WWE and the NXT brand? She just goes away, or is there one more appearance and then she's gone?
Yeah, I think this is a good thing to talk about because you were in the arena and I was doing the watch along, so we didn't really get each other's kind of full um thoughts about it because it was an interesting night. I think not just because you were there, but a lot of things happened. So with Blake Monroe, I thought, okay, and I said this during the watch along. This could be a good way to have Blake Monroe just do something without having her have a match or whatever. Because my thing was this. I don't know if I believe the reports going around that Thea Hale wasn't initially supposed to win. Now, because I mean, I knew the call-ups were coming up around this time, and I figured she'd be one of them. Jordan Grace isn't going to be the only one, and Solo Ruka is eventually going to be gone too. But she's going to stick around a little more. I think Blake Monroe has a little bit more of not just her name, but the ability to be a main roster talent now. So I'm not surprised that they did this because this is just a way for Blake Monroe to go out on NXT, do something, have an excuse not to have a match before she goes out. I don't really know at this point why she would even need to go back to NXT. Maybe if she wants to go explain herself, fine. I don't think she needs to explain, whatever. There doesn't have to be a match between her and Thea for her to send off. I don't think she really needs to show back up. So yeah, I think that was the end of Blake Monroe in NXT, and I think she goes up to SmackDown.
And that's not the first time that they vanished a wrestler that we didn't see. So that's not the first time they've done it. Shout out to Alex Coquito, who invited me on to talk some NXT time with D-Walk on the PUWF, the podcast for unappreciative wrestling fans. Check them out. Thank you for the hospitality. Always a great listen and always great to be there as a special guest for you guys whenever you need me. Definitely, they're going to be on tonight as well, so check them out. I want to give them my guys a shout out with that, so appreciate you guys. And we were talking about that. He mentioned that and he brought that to the light, so I want to give him credit. That's not the first time that a wrestler's vanishing from NXT, boom boom like that. Also two dimes where went sleeping with the fishes, but that's because he left the company. But I think Blake Monroe, we said it. We said she wasn't going to win that title. I guess they didn't want to pin Thea Hale from Blake Monroe, but as we saw later in the night, we're going to jump right into it. We saw later in the night they have an open challenge, and I hate the way NXT does their open challenge. I'm going to be totally, frankly honest, because everybody from the locker room comes out like bushwhackers.
I hate that shit too.
All we needed them to just do all the bushwhacker shit and all that crap coming out. Oh, everybody. And then, of course, we got to hear $1 million from now and this and that. I'm like, ugh. And then always the challenger always comes from the back, from the other side. And then, early in the night, you saw Tatum Paxley defeat Izzy Dane. No calling around, but this time the calling's out there directing traffic. And then, Izzy Dane is in the middle of the ring, but Tatum Paxley has a chainsaw and all the ladies get scared. And that was mostly Evolve ladies that were there. And even I saw Nikita Lyons. Oh my God, Nikita's going to get a title shot. I was like, oh no. I got to go touch grass. But then no, all of a sudden it's Izzy Dane, and Izzy Dane has a match with Thea Hale. But before that, Thea Hale's crying again with a promo. That's one thing that bothers me with Thea Hale. Thea, you're great in the ring. You shouldn't be crying 2 weeks, 3 weeks after holding that title. You should be saying, you think it's a fluke? You ain't taking this from me. You're going to be hell-bent and get into that camera, look in the face and get mad, not cry. Yeah, it was a great moment. Great, beautiful. The emotion already passed but the nostalgic. Now, no one's taking this shit from me, man. Come and get it, I wish you would have tapped into that, Thea, because it's you're going to lose, but it's still that level like, yo, she's real. Like, when she gets mad, but Thea Hale loses the title to Izzy Dane. Congratulations to Izzy Dane. I was like one of the few people popping in that arena when she won for Izzy. Doing all
really?
Oh my God, they were 3 to the dome. I was excited. If you look at the video, I'm jumping up like and marking out and going 3 to the dome and happy and going excited for Izzy winning that women's North American title. Of course, Thea Hale's love from her Chase You gimmick. I believe the love is almost, I say 60-40, Tatum Paxley to Thea Hale. If you were to combine them, if you were to put face to face, I think Tatum is that 60 and Thea the 40, in my opinion, and from the Performance Center. But I'm so happy for Izzy Dane. Let's see now where she goes with the culling and where they go as a Women's North American Championship going forward. It was feel weird for it. And for NXT, well, you want to go right into the women's title picture? Or is there anything else?
Yeah, no, I don't.
Since we're on the women's topic,
Yeah,
I want to,
nothing else.
because a lot of reports has that not only we saw Jordan Grace, now Blake Monroe possibly going up to the main roster. Reports or rumors, Lola Vice is a name that's been put up there, although we saw Lola Vice and Kalani Jordan have another feud. I think Kalani needs another little couple months. I think Kalani is one of those that could go up, because even I know people are worried about her heel and her character development in her heel, how she comes across, which is a fair assessment of it. I think Kalani needs a couple more months. I think she could be ready for main roster if they call her up, because I thought her TNA knockout run was short, but it was really like, wow, it caught my attention for Kalani. Also, for Soruka, name that's been rumored to go up, it worries me. Now is a chance for Zarya. I don't know, if Zarya doesn't get pushed, go into full gear and go off, I'm a little worried with Zarya character, period. I don't need her, because then she becomes one of that just tagging along with Soruka. I need to see something on Zarya on her own. That's all I want to, worried about Zarya. And then for the title matchup, JC Jane is another pick name that's been called up for going up to. Now, is it JC Jane or is it a package as a tag team? That's what's confusing. I don't know if WWE is hesitant for that reason. If Fallon Henley's a name that goes up with her, I've said this, I would love to see going up to the main roster, Fallon and JC teaming up with Kalani, with Kiana James, and have them have their own, fatal influence type on the main roster. Those three ladies, Lainey Reed could stay and become women's champion and dominate that division. She's not quite there ready yet. And I would like to see that there as a group going forward, and have Julia move over to with the Kabuki Warriors when we get to that. But, Chris, Kendall Gray, impressive even in defeat. I mean, that's her division in 2026. And Lainey Reed and her and Ran, those are the top women in the NXT. With all the call-ups there's nothing to worry about them with the ladies, in my opinion.
No, I mean, you're losing a lot of talent. I mean, don't get me wrong on that, because I think JC Jane has been the best heel in NXT in the women's side all of 2025 and even right now. But no, Kendall Gray looked great. She is gonna be the future that goes. I could see her kind of being like how Roxanne was. Maybe she could be the face of NXT for a while. I like her look. I think she looked good against JC. Obviously, JC winning was the right call, was the right move. We're gonna see who takes that off her. I think Kendall Gray would have to lose that Evolve Championship first. But I think whoever takes the title off JC Jane is going to be the person that they, kind of put that rocket on NXT moving forward. And if it is Kendall Gray, then so be it. That's a good choice too. But I don't know who that person is right now. And they got some people, but I don't know who could be that face. I mean, this might be a hot take. I don't really know why Lola Vice would be getting called up.
Okay, fair.
Because I've been saying this for all 2025. When am I going to see her involved in a North American title, a meaningful feud, a main event level type of atmosphere from her consistently? I have not seen that. She loses every match she has, and takes the pin most of the time. And they don't. I've had that problem with not Lola Vice, but the way they book her. And if they book her like this in NXT, I have no faith they're going to book her at least decent. She's great for AAA. That's all you see in her. I don't. So, I mean, that's my only. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm not saying I don't want it to happen. I'm just worried.
No, fair.
I don't think she should be on SmackDown just because she's with Priest. Okay,
you said the word out of my mouth.
Yeah. Well, sorry, but she doesn't need to be on SmackDown just because her boyfriend's on the main roster. I'm sorry. I hate that shit. I hate it. I can't stand it. That automatically, she getting called up. Like, no, she needs NXT for at least half of this year, in my opinion.
No, she come up, and it's funny because both ladies are going to feud. And I want to shout out my friend Brad. I want to shout out my friend Brad that we were on NXT together. Shout you out, Brad, man. You were awesome. I love sitting with him every time I've gone to the last 2 times, with him, and we have a good time on there. So I wanted to shout out Brad. Appreciate you entertaining and sitting with us while myself and watching the NXT live for the past times that I've gone. And he says he's kind of little, and it's kind of tired of seeing and Kalani wrestle each other. They're going to wrestle each other on Tuesday, but they're kind of synced up. I kind of want to see when they called up, they need to be called up probably together. Look, one thing I love about Lola Vice, she commands the language, both English and Spanish, fluently and clearly, where her promo, much better than a Stephanie McCare. The in-ring, Stephanie McCare, of course. For Lola Vice, she's getting it, and she's learning how to get over in Mexico with the crowd, learn how to work the crowd, working the crowd and getting that experience. Now I need her to, here's a problem working in the PC. She could get that PC crowd over easily. Can she do it when they go on the road? She's got Mexico on the palm of her hand. Now we need to get on the road, and I think that's going to be her success in the main roster. She knows how to get that crowd over outside, and when she makes the main roster and get them over and want Lola Vice, yes. Also, I got the bicycle kicks. She needs to add more to her repertoire in wrestling, when she has been doing a little bit in Mexico. That's why you send them to Mexico. I need a little more. The bicycle kicks and letting us know you're a Latina with the hip attack, great. I need something else. I need something more. That's the same issue I'm having with Miss Jada Parker. Her hypnotic, I need a better finisher. She's great. She's good. But I need a finisher that's going to translate in the main roster. Putting your stinking hypnotic and hitting someone in the face with your ass, I need something more. That I don't see that as world championship material finisher. I could be wrong, but I need something, just something, some type of devastating finisher from her. Like, that's what's holding to me Jada Parker as well, as we're going to add her in the conversation. But when it's time for those ladies to go up, I think it's going to be Kalani with Lola, but I hope it's not anytime soon. And that's to be something after WrestleMania reset. If they want to, and they need still talent for Stand and Deliver, and of course they need that there while the Evolve women start getting ready, like a Kaylee Armstrong, so many others that are on the pipeline for Evolve moving up to NXT for the women's division. But we'll see. We'll see if they go up. We'll see, because Roxanne is killing it, but Roxanne had a great pedigree when it comes to Booker T in a corner, and Lola's learned from the Performance Center. WWE programming, nothing wrong with that. Now she's learning how to with AAA Mexico, working with La Toxicas and Famer and other ladies like that is going to help her take that to another level. One thing I would love to see for Lola to work a little bit of the Natty Dungeon. I would like that too. Will help her with some, she's use some more wrestling grab moves. Her matches in Underground with Natty Neidhart were great on the NXT level. I wanted to see them work a little more outside of the wrestling ring to incorporate some more wrestling techniques in all the Vice. That would be something great. But we'll see where that goes. Brandon, what's going on? Happy New Year, brother. Because there are high-profile Latinas on the roster, and that's why they're going to bring Lola Vice up. Well, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, it takes away from it. It's a refreshing take from the way you like to say, Heather. A lot of blonde ambition on WWE main roster. They're trying to switch it up and bring in some more Latin flavor along with it. Let's see if they do that. I don't know. I don't hope not. We hope they hold them for a couple more months, in our opinion. Chris, this is something that was a disconnect for me. At being in the arena, I blew a gasket. I know you were upset. Ethan Page comes out to me in the segment that I called the 10 minutes of hamster wheel of turds. Ethan Page wants a North American challenger for his championship, but then he gets interrupted by the Speed champion, Jasper Troy, interrupted by Chavian Heights, so Josh Briggs, who else? So many others. Out comes Stacks. with Adriana. And here comes from LFG, Shiloh Hill. From LFG, by the way.
Ugh.
Claiming a stake, a match for the TNA International Champion. This MFer has never wrestled a TNA match, never wrestled with a TNA talent, and he's getting an international championship match. So no wonder why something became a nothing. We'll talk about that on Wednesday. And they left. Thoughts? This guy should not be nowhere near. He should be wrestling for the speed title. Stay in your lane. Why is he challenging for a TNA title, Shiloh Hill? Why?
I would like you to answer that. I mean, I would like somebody in the chat to answer that. I completely understand your frustration because I had the same frustration. I do not understand why Shiloh Hill is competing for a TNA title. And I'm sick and tired, and I said this on Tuesday in the watch along, of NXT versus NXT for a TNA championship. Why does that always have to be the thing going forward for this? Let this partnership be a partnership. And I don't mean to make this about that, but what does Stacks, first off, why the fuck does he even have that international championship to begin with? Why did he take it from and again, you brought this up. We could have at least saw Steve Macklin. Saw Steve Macklin. He's been on NXT before. You didn't fucking use him during the invasion angle. And he looked kind of, when he talked about it, he played it off and was like, I mean, it's okay if no, he wanted to fucking be there. And you didn't have him there. So you could have at least had him show up on NXT and set up the rematch between him and Stacks, because I do not want Stacks to be the international champion going into the AMC era. He's not even, I mean, you couldn't have given it to like Tavion Heights. If you really want to give an NXT wrestler the TNA International Championship, it couldn't have been Tavion Heights, who had Mike Santana's first match in TNA or NXT, who has been in TNA multiple times. I would have been fine with Tavion Heights. But Shiloh Hill and Stacks? Really, Shiloh Hill's the one that gets me mad, because if you want to play off you can play it off with Stacks, because his father-in-law is Santino. He's the director of authority in TNA.
That's the storyline.
And that's the storyline. He's, Pop. What up, Pops? I'm here now. Whatever. Like, you can play that off with Stacks. That's why I'm more so upset about the Shiloh Hill part. I still don't think Stacks should be a fucking TNA champion at all. But okay, he's invading his father-in-law's company. Cool story. But Shiloh? Why? No. If you're gonna give me an NXT on NXT, I still wouldn't have liked it, because I'm not gonna be a hypocrite. I don't like it at all. But I would have tolerated a little bit more if it was Tavion Heights.
Yeah, because Tavion Heights has had a match with a TNA talent. Shiloh Hill hasn't even wrestled at Evolve. And you're giving him a TNA? So what are you telling me here? Evolve is bigger than NXT, the TNA right now? Like, no. Shiloh Hill should not be touching that title. He hasn't won anything to get a number one contenders, because he went to Ava and Santino? Because I went to them? No. He should not. He should not be wrestling for a TNA title, touching that, when he hasn't even wrestled for a developmental Evolve championship. No, I'm sorry. I don't care who was your coach. If it's the Taker, no, sorry, that's not the correct thing to do. No, I am sorry. No, that's not, that doesn't feel good. Doesn't sit right. It doesn't sit right. It doesn't sit right. It doesn't tell. So you're telling me all that locker room in TNA that were the guys that wrestled for Eric Young. How do you go to Eric Young, the veteran, and tell him, you know what, we're not giving you an NXT, a TNA international title opportunity because Shiloh Hill is going to get that chance? How do you tell that to them, who's been there, from the opening the doors and working his ass off and waving the TNA flag? But this kid is going to, because he's on line of G, because he has one tooth and he's on the dark web, and Michelle McCool thinks he's cool. Sorry, doesn't work. Sorry. And I know you need to you want some young, youthful wrestler to, well, you have that in TNA. You have the young guys, so Trey Miguel. You have the young youthful wrestlers there, and you don't give him a opportunity. Can it? You have Zachary Wentz lives in Orlando. You couldn't have him come out. And by the way, this is why I call it the hamster wheel of turds. They did all that running around like a hamster, running around. At the end of the day, we didn't even get a number one contender or challenger for Ethan Page's North American title, which was the point in the first place of Ethan coming out looking for someone to challenge him. So everyone else got titles matches and stuff. And Ethan still got no challenger. It was a hamster wheel of turd that led to nothing. 10 minutes wasted of my time in the Performance Center. 10 minutes wasted. That it could have gave it to the main event because it felt a little rush. I'm sorry. Okay, what you said. That Leon Slater versus Obafemi felt a little bit rushed. I didn't get the best. Of both these men in that match. Classic. I didn't get that. I was expecting, and I wasn't going to expect the same kind of level of match, but I expected a Slammiversary Moose Leon type of match with Oba and Javon. I keep putting those two kids together. Excuse me. Again, not because they're African Americans, no, because of their talent. They're all four of those men that I've been talking about are freaking uber athletic, and they come in all shapes, and sizes. And I thought they were going to deliver that for the main event, and it was not. It was good, but it wasn't the level of holy moly. Felt rushed because they had to give us those 10 minutes of nonsense.
It felt rushed, and that, with Oba, what Oba did at the end of the show is they also had to get that out before they went off the show. Before they went off the air, excuse me. But I thought the match, it made sense. Like Oba got a lot of offense. Javon or Leon. Now I'm doing that. Leon looked.
I know
he looked good and he looked like he belonged. And I said this during the watch along when you were at the show. It was like my whole chat was like, had a lot of the, Brad, all you guys thought that Leon was gonna win, and I'm sitting here, I'm like, I don't think he's gonna win. He's the X Division champion. I don't see it. I think Oba. I thought he would because again the anticipation with Obafemi moving up. But I knew he wasn't gonna win. But I thought it was fine. Like you said, it wasn't what you maybe expected it to be. Moose and Leon was a better match, but it was a classic. Big guy versus little guy. I just don't understand the ending.
Fair. At the beginning, I remember I came on when you were still doing a watch on. I had my instant reaction. I was like, well, if Obafemi is being called up and all so forth, they should have put the title on Leon Slater. The day of the event, I was bothered that Leon should have won and become double champion, especially when they were showing you that, Myron Reed is having a match with Leon Slater on the opening premiere on January 15th of TNA Thursday Night Impact on AMC. I said, okay, maybe that. And then there's a triple threat match afterwards if he survives, where it's Cedric Moose taking on the winner, if it's Leon Slater or Marlon Reed on Genesis for the PLE. So I said maybe that's a way of him losing one of the titles there, in a triple threat where he doesn't have to get pinned. He probably beats Reed, and then he, triple threat, and he still and you could have the NXT World Title showcase on the premiere of AMC, another platform for WWE to show its title, show the WWE call letters on a new network where everyone's going to tune in and watch. And oh wow, maybe I thought that was the reasoning. But then I had 24 hours and a conversation with Chef Dan, which he made a great point. You want to keep Obafemi's invincibility to look strong, which he went face to face with Cody Rhodes, no contest. He shoved McIntyre. We know later in the week he becomes your Undisputed World Champion. Oba is showing those vignettes, those promos, and he leaves by vacating the title, making a statement. I'm above this. I'm in another level. I don't need this to represent. I'm too stronger. I already ruled this, and I'm gonna vacate. I'm gonna go rule something else. Shows even more invincibility aura for Oba. If he would have lost to Leon and is on his way out, you don't feel him that invincible heading to Monday Night Raw or SmackDown. I think he's going to SmackDown. Everyone thinks he's going to Raw. I don't think he's going to Raw, Chris, because you have Gunther on that show. You have Braun Breaker on that show. You want someone to be a menace and and he already has issues or cross paths with both Cody and Drew. I think he goes to SmackDown.
He has to go to SmackDown. SmackDown will need him more, first off. Second, I mean, he already had a match with Cody. And, as of right now, Cody Rhodes is not the undisputed champion. So they could easily have a program together without any titles, and one of them could be a clear winner or a loser. There's so many things you could do with Oba on SmackDown and Raw. I think he gets lost. I think he gets lost in the not lost, but you don't want to see him and Braun right away. You don't want to see him and Bronson Reed right away. You don't. I just don't know what he could do. You want to present Oba. You want to kind of make him a main priority, and I don't think he'll be a main priority on Raw with Jey Uso, Punk, Seth possibly coming back, Roman Reigns. There's a lot of people there on Raw. Logan Paul, who's there full time now. There's a lot of people there on Raw that I don't think will jump ahead of Oba. That's why you start him on SmackDown. He already has this thing with Cody. Boom. But you don't want I understand if you don't want to feel like Raw, SmackDown is just going to be the call-up show because they have an extra 3 hours to fill. Like, I can see that, but at the same time, A, they really need it, and B, all the people they're calling up, let's be honest, there's nothing for them to do in NXT except Jordynne Grace maybe being the face of it, but she don't need to do that.
No, and you have chemistry. You have good chemistry with wrestlers coming up from NXT. They worked with each other. They're going to put on those matches that they have that chemistry and timing with each other, and it's going to translate on the main roster. They're going to put on back like, whoa, these guys could work because they have reps with one another, like a Trick and Oba Femi. You have some substance with Ilya and Trick Williams when they go down the road in a couple of months, if they go that route, if they want to do that, or so forth, because they have good in-ring chemistry with one another and they could wrestle. So I am excited with that and seeing for Oba Femi what goes on. Now, we haven't heard yet. It's to Saturday afternoon. If you're watching, thank you for watching. We appreciate everyone. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, and share. If you like the content, like the conversation, please. Your support is needed. We will love your support with just a follow, a like, retweet if you're on X and all that. It just tells us thank you. We don't bother everyone to say we need money, although super chats are welcome. We could use it. But you know what? If you enjoy it, by just the ultimate compliment you could give us is by liking and sharing and leave a comment. We, after the video, if you're listening to us afterwards, like we got Heather putting a comment. We got Millennium Knob in the building. What's going on, Millennium? Thank you for joining us, man. Appreciate that. We'll read your comment in a second. And of course, we appreciate everyone going along with our show here. And remember, we just not just the watch alongs in the wrestling world. We interview the wrestlers and we do the recaps like we're doing today. So we appreciate everyone on there. Here we go. Millennium. We go back just a little bit for this comment because we did the Raw portion. But Stranger Thing was a disappointment. The 2 titles, but the matches Punk was good until the end. Raw has barely done some storyline progression. Yes, we mentioned that absolutely on that. But this is the NXT time, and we're gonna now wrap up with NXT. We'll find out what happens going forward. I was saying before I ask you guys to subscribe and like, we haven't had any updates yet where they're going to do with the vacant NXT world title right now. Now, let me ask you, what would you think, or what would you like to battle royal for the NXT world champion being crowned, a tournament? What's your thoughts?
Well, considering that it's vacated, I feel like a battle royal, like, That's a tough one because I don't know if I really like either or. I just don't know how another way you could crown a champion. I mean, I don't want to tournaments. I mean, what are they going to do? A four bracket tournament or something? Like what? Well, how they don't got enough really time and whatever to do a tournament unless they have one planned. And then a battle royal. I mean, so close to Royal Rumble season. I mean, it just feels like the ultimate way to crown a champion, like the first easy way. I don't know, but if I had between either, give me a battle royal because when you put people in tournaments, you put that one person that's like he's winning. Like Gunther, with the minute again, go back and you guys can all go back and watch this because that's what I love about YouTube. Like Kev said, it has the dates and everything when I said this. And I'm not saying I'm the one that said it, but I'm saying this now. As soon as I saw Gunther's name in that tournament, I knew he was winning. With the Owen, I knew Hangman was winning. There's so many. You put that one person in the tournament, and you kind of know. That's why I like the battle royal because at least you could have somebody almost get eliminated, and it's kind of like unpredictable. So I would prefer a battle royal. If that's the way they're gonna do it, I don't know.
No, we don't know because if they do a tournament, it's gonna be Deion Lennox. There's gonna be
Right,
Joel
like I don't want to see
Hendry,
that.
Miles Bourne. That's 3 right there. Like,
Give me like a battle royal type of, or give me like a
20-man
Iron
battle
Survival
royal
type of match or something.
Well,
Like
fair, but then again,
Like,
you
I gotta pay-
already got
give me a-
three. You already got 3 names already, and their pay-per-view is not happening until February. They're not going to go that long.
I was
without
just
a
gonna
champ.
ask when's they don't have a pay per
The
view
Vengeance
January.
Day. They got
Vengeance Day.
Vengeance
Then
Day.
yeah, they're gonna have to do a battle royal on one of their shows.
So you got 3 names right there. I wanted the 20-man battle royal because you could add other wrestlers. We could have TNA. We could have AAA. Of course, they could probably send Mr. Iguana or Wagner Jr. But still, that's fine. You could have different brand names. They could even if they want to pop a ratings. We got even wrestlers don't even work here just for a one-off, just to get tossed over the battle royal. Just or even someone from SmackDown or someone that's not right now overseas. That they're working the PC. Hey, you would like to make an appearance? Boom, they're like get them in there on the battle royal. I think the battle royal will be a better way. They haven't announced it. We don't know how it is. But you know what? If they do it for this Tuesday, and I know I was talking that to Chef Dan, he goes, well, Leon could still win that title because he could enter that battle royal and still be winning. And you could still have you could have your cake and eat it too. Where Leon still becomes the NXT World Champion, the World Champion on that AMC premiere, and you're off and running, and you got something going forward. So we'll see how creative NXT has done. There haven't been much. Ava's talking about calling up a lot of the Evolve wrestlers, Harlem Lewis. I'm just afraid. And the only thing, here's a double-edged sword. Even in that battle royal, you could see Shallow Hill winning that fucking battle royal and becoming NXT champion.
My God, don't say that. Stop.
I mean, dude,
Stop.
If Undertaker's having his claws and all that creative and pushing and I know. The kid isn't ready. He's going to be a talent, but not right now. They're extending his timeline where that's just us. But let's move on from NXT, Chris. Let's go. Let's hear from our sponsor one more time. As we change always gear, we're always going to hear from our sponsor. Thank you to our sponsor.
This breakdown is brought to you by our partners, sponsored by Dude Wipes, who support independent wrestling media. If you enjoy smart analysis, live debate, watch-alongs, and interviews with community-driven coverage, take a second to support the channel, like the stream, subscribe, and share it with another wrestling fan. Every click helps us keep the conversation going and the lights on. This is the Sports Jedi Network. Now, let's get back to the action. Take it away, PGH Chris and Sports Jedi Kev.
All right, we're back. Thank you for Dude Wipes, our sponsor. You can get it on your grocery aisles. You can order it on Kroger, Amazon, Walmart Plus, all those. Yeah, absolutely. Always be clean. Always be ready. Always be safe. Let's go. Dude Wipes. Yes. Here we go. Let's Thank you so much. We got our care pack. We got our care packs in the bill. Let's go. Dude Wipes on the Sports Jedi Network. We're wiping out the competition. Thank you so much there for that. Chris, Wednesday night. You know what that means.
Oh, what? Oh, yay, a day off? Oh, you meant Dynamite. Ugh.
Dynamite. JJ. Yeah,
Where are we starting here?
Let's go with some good times. This is a show that had a little bit of everything. They had a title eliminator for the Continental Classic. It had a lights out match, and people got cream pie. Oh my goodness. Let's start with the cream pie because everybody wants to hear the happy ending. We had a celebration of Willow Nightingale's TBS title. Is it me or does it feel like it's like a couple months too late for really getting excited for Willow winning that title?
A couple years too late.
I didn't. I feel so good for Willow, but then I don't know that Monet. By the way, I hate to be that person, but can we not say that that was copy and paste from Xavier Woods mourning the tag team titles? Oh, I needed her to wear an overbearing big ass hat. I know it was white.
Whoa! That was on New Year's Bash. That was last week's.
No, this is this week's.
The Mercedes, the Willow Nightingale celebration.
Yeah,
I thought that happened last. Oh no! The match was last week.
I'm talking about the celebration with the cream pie.
Yeah. My bad. Yeah. Go ahead. My bad.
She comes out with the hat in mourning. Like, hello, Xavier Woods called like his gimmick back. I mean,
I don't know why this needed to happen. I don't. I thought because the match at New Year's Smash, which is what I was thinking of. My apologies again. I do think they had a good match, but again, they kind of should have. Statlander beating Mercedes was a bigger deal than Willow beating Mercedes, and they didn't do this for Statlander. So this made no sense, in my opinion.
Filler.
I mean, this whole fucking show felt like fillers, but probably.
Damn. Where does Mercedes go now? She's losing. She lost her TBS Precious. She lost her. I believe she's losing here and there. Is that her downfall?
I don't know where you go from here. She's already squashed or beaten half the roster. Who do you want to see on that roster have a meaningful match with Mercedes? She already did it. Tony Storm, she already did it. Chris Statlander, she already did it. Willow Nightingale, she just did it. Those are the three other people I can see in the company even doing something with her. That when it's like, okay, if Mercedes beats her, to me, I don't think it damages them because of who they are. I don't want to see Mercedes versus Harley Cameron. That was terrible. I don't want to see that again. But again, we saw it. Who did we not see Mercedes go up against in 2025 that they could do it again and make it meaningful this year? Nobody. In my opinion, nobody.
That's a corner that they booked themselves in. The only one, there's a match that intrigues me, but I don't know if they could do it. I don't know if they could do it like a stipulation, 2 out of 3 falls. Well, I would like to see Athena and Mercedes 2 out of 3, but there's nothing on the line. Do you really? I don't want to see a wrestler for around the title.
No, because I don't think their match that they had in the Owen was. I gave it my AEW Women's Match of the Year.
That was very good.
I thought that they're not topping that.
That's why I said 2 out of 3. A stipulation, something.
Do it because I agree because that match really didn't mean anything. If it wasn't for the Owen, it would have just been a random good match on the show. They're a tag team. They competed in the same team for our inaugural Women's Tag Team Championships. You're going to tell me you can't make a fucking story out of that and have them be one of your biggest matches going into Double or Nothing?
And Athena's been looking at her side eye too. Looking at her side eye and losing.
Or Revolution in LA in March, your first pay-per-view, Sunday, March 15th. Where are they at the Kia? No, they're at the Crypto Arena. They're not even at the Kia Forum. They're in the fucking crypto arena. And you're going to tell me you're not going to you can't make a meaningful storyline between Mercedes and Athena? I think that, yeah, you can. So I hope they would, but do I trust them to do it? No.
I would like to see Athena get fed up with Mercedes, and Mercedes says, you think you, because I like, and then challenge her for, I know people don't want to see that, challenge her for her Ring of Honor title. And I wouldn't mind best 2 out of 3. Look, heck, they're doing their first pay-per-view of the year. Give us an Iron Woman match. They could give us an Iron Woman match between those two. I'm just afraid that the handwriting on the wall for the company seems that Mercedes is going to win the Owen again, because she's going to go after that world title, and they're not going to make her wait. They're not going to make her linger. They're just going to go right to it, because Tony Khan doesn't have any patience. He instead of long-term booking, he's going to push it immediately where
you should not win the Owen. The Owen winner should be Megan Bayne or Tekla.
We'll see. I mean, there's a long time before the Owen, but it kind of feels like it, that she's going to win it again, because she's the only one that actually carries that Owen like her actual title.
They'll start promoting it in a few months. So before WrestleMania, they'll promote it at least. So because they do it before Double or Nothing. If Double or Nothing's in probably May this year, probably.
I have no clue what their schedule, because they've been changing.
They change it a lot. But anyway, my point is, with Mercedes, I would like her to have good matches with like a Tekla and a Megan Bayne, because those are the 2 females in the company I have the most. Besides Willow, Chris Statlander, though, Tekla and Megan Bayne are the 2 that I want to see evolve in the company, because Willow and Chris Statlander, they're having their moments right now. Chris is the AEW Women's World Champion. Nightingale is a 2-time champion or double champion. So let's get Tekla and Megan Bayne in there. But again, Mercedes has to do it kind of the way she did it with Chris Statlander and Willow. Those are the only 2 she really put over, or they kind of feel more legit after beating Mercedes. At least Chris Statlander does for me. So we'll see.
Yeah, let's stick with the women. It seems like Shafina Marina and Timeless Tony Storm are heading for collision. Not the show, but a path of one another to wrestle one another. My question, it feels like it's getting, like we were talking about the tag team titles and being redundant and seeing it, and also where LA Knight was always in the main event wrestling. It feels like it's always going to be pockets. Timeless Tony Storm and the Congregation,
which is why I don't like the show,
and the Death Riders, in all different types of match. Every week, whatever live arena they're at, the people pop for Roderick Strong to stand in front of his wife. I never seen so many people want to see domestic violence. I kid. Before everyone gets to see Marina and Roddick. Oh, they get so excited. I never seen so many crowd get excited for those 2. That did like 5 times already. Like
the first time I told you the first time they did that was fun, when they did it at the World's End, because I mean, I just hate that the commentators don't acknowledge. Here's Marina Shafir and Raja Strong face to face. The crowd is really fired up. Hey, Excalibur, do you mind telling us why the crowd is so fired up? Come on, you can acknowledge that they're married. This would be so, Kev, I understand what you're saying, but if I'm the fucking writer, I'm doing Roderick, go get your wife, bro. Get your wife in check. I'm having him invade the Death Riders, whatever, backstage. Yo, what the fuck are you doing? Like this, why are you riding around with him? Like what? Like make it mean something. Like when I say mean something, like let me be like, holy shit, like this is a real life situation type of thing, because we know they're married. That's why the fucking fans are going crazy. But AEW doesn't want to acknowledge that. Why? That is the whole point. That people want to see it is because they're married, and you won't point out the fact that, like, make it something, bro. Have Roderick get Marina out of the Death Riders. Try to convince his wife, like, yo, we need a separate, or if we're not, we're gonna have to, like, I'm not saying like do a fucking divorce angle on television. I'm not saying that at all, but I think they could make it like a soap opera, which is what they lack. Story.
I mean, we'll see where it goes there. It's kind of getting redundant because you're getting a lot of the same stuff, interference. Between them two, they had their one-on-one. Tony Marina, Marina, all she does is judo thrusts to me, and she likes to put your head in her chest with her mother's milk. Well, we'll see where that goes there. Another match that was a little bit puzzling or weird. Chris, you have an opportunity. If you beat me, I'll give you a title shot. The Continental title eliminator with Jon Moxley and Shelton Benjamin. This looked like the finisher was straight out of Maxine Dupree and Becky Lynch, other than Moxley holding on to the rope, where you have Shelton Benjamin holding on to a submission hold and gets his shoulder, and Moxley rolls him up for a pin. Identical, where he has a hold and he didn't know his shoulders were down, locked in, 1, 2, 3, but they had to wait 5 seconds or something along the lines before the 20-minute time limit expired for Moxley to win. I thought it was 9 minutes too long.
I thought it was a good match. I really
it was.
I don't understand. I now everyone loves Jon Moxley. Everyone loves Jon Moxley now. Why? We spent a year bitching and complaining that we did not want this guy as the AEW World Champion. We're tired of him, this and that. He snaps his fingers and he says, bow down to me, AEW sickos. I'm the fucking king. And everyone's chanting it like he's fucking Will Ospreay. Like, what? I don't want evolve. He's not evolving as a character. He is going backwards as a character. The transition from heel to babyface didn't make sense. Please, somebody in the chat, somebody at my mentions on Twitter, somebody tell me why Jon Moxley is a babyface. I will love an explanation because I don't understand it. I don't get it. I wasn't explained to. They didn't do a good job of telling us. Why is Jon Moxley a babyface? Why is he the Continental Champion? Why is, like, there's so many whys when it comes to this guy, the Death Riders. I don't know. But the match, it was a fucking good match. I liked it. But again, it was like 7 minutes too long because it was 20 minutes.
I see 20. Yeah, 20. Was it 24 minutes? Right before they.
No, I thought the match.
No.
I thought.
No,
I thought
yeah. 20,
yeah.
Because
they
19 minutes.
They went off of it. They went
second. Yeah.
They went to the next segment at 8:20.
No, yeah, they was right there 5 seconds before the
Yep.
content and the time. So either way, Sheldon is eliminated. He can't wrestle for the Continental title. So that means what's happened. So the Hurt Syndicate only revolves around Bobby Lashley. Then everyone else should care about. Now let me ask this: did Shelton Benjamin improve from the WWE, or is he still the same lateral position he was in the WWE? Enhancement, a good hand.
I mean, he's definitely having good matches. I don't think he'd have in WWE. I think he had that Hurt Syndicate run, which I don't think he'd have in WWE, but I think he's not having the right stories or opponents. I don't know, especially when him and Bobby were the tag team champions. I don't think they had good opponents. I think they should have had more matches with the Guns. They had one and they squashed them. Like, they didn't have them. Like, I don't know. The matches, they haven't really done much for me in AEW. Like people like to say they have, to where they've made an impact, no pun intended, or something. Because Shelton Benjamin, I mean, no disrespect to him, but he's not going to help this company in any way.
He's not getting any younger. His matches are still high quality. It's good timing, great job, but to me, he's a lateral move. He's still doing he's still in the card or where he is in the company when he was in WWE. Maybe he's seen more on television, but he's losing. He's a good hand. He's a good hand. He's gonna put on a great match, a good hand. That's what a good hand, and that's what Benjamin has become here. And so I don't know what's gonna happen when it comes to the syndicate. The Hurt Syndicate. I feel bad for him. For Moxley, why is he a babyface? Like you said, no explanation, because You know, he appreciates now AEW with the fans. He rose his partner's hands. You know, during the night, the course of the show, we saw a new member. We saw two new members to the Don Callis family. Let's start with the first one, formerly known as Jake something. Jake Doyle. Doyle joins the AEW roster. Now teams up with Mark Davis. Not for nothing, on paper, they look like a nice pair, Chris.
Too bad they're not going to be.
And I think Jake is going to turn. I think his name is Jake Doyle, but coming next week or going
He should
forward,
be Jake Alexander, because that's exactly how he's going to be used.
Jake nothing.
No,
Will be Jake nothing.
I see nothing for him. Sorry.
Nothing for Jake's something.
I really, and you know what? I really wasn't that crazy about him in TNA either. So
No.
he was just a good guy to go against Macklin for the international title. When
A good hand.
He was a good hand, but I don't know.
I know.
But look, let me just copy and paste everything I said about the Andrade return the first time and insert it now, because this is the exact same thing that we saw. We know what happened with Andrade. Why the fuck did you have to make it into this? This is the exact same way he returned. This was stupid. This was so dumb.
What makes me laugh?
He was already, last time we saw him, he was already a member of the Don Callis family doing this. They never mentioned that he was gone, this and that. You could have just had him come out like normal. Oh, Andrade's here. But instead you did some stupid fucking reveal that you did a month. See, I'm sorry to excuse my language for a second, but this is the type of stuff that I don't like. People like, why don't you watch AEW anymore? It's because of this. It's because I don't like to watch it anymore because of that. Stupid stuff like that.
You know what makes me laugh, Chris? When the lights go off, turn back on, and the commentary still don't know who the hell is that man under the mask.
Like come on, you see his hair.
Everybody, not his hair. Everybody knows he wears that same skeletorial mask. Oh. Who could it be? Excalibur. Who could it be? Like Tony Schiavone. Like, oh, guys, I know you want to add excitement, but everybody knows. He goes, no, he's back. I would have liked to hear that from the commentary. No, is he really back this time? That would have been like, who could it be? I mean, just a simple.
It looks.
It does look good.
It looks like Con Man Mini and all the. Oh, who could it be?
And you see their videos, fake reacting. Come on, man. Yeah, as soon as the lights were off, you knew, and you saw him in New Japan over the weekend. You knew he was going to show up on Dynamite. For you to act surprised, it's a far fetch.
No, all those fucking reactionary podcasters are far fetched.
I mean, come on. Good for Andrade. Another makes the members to number 18 now on that roster for Don Callis. All right.
He's not going to be the main attraction because Takeshi Takeshita is way. I swear, if they put Takeshi Takeshita back for Andrade, I'm going to punch a hole in my wall. Because what are we doing here? Takeshi Takeshita is the future. And I worry because it seems like the first time that Andrade came back like this exact same way, not like this, literally like this. I don't know. I hope Takeshi Takeshita doesn't get pushed back because Okada's there. He's, you could debate he's the bigger star, and Andrade, from all the shit that's been happening, they're gonna want to use him, and they're gonna want to use him ASAP. So I worry for Takeshi. I don't give a fuck about all the other 25 members in the group. I think Kyle Fletcher should just lead the group.
Well, eventually he said something on X. The seeds are planted. We'll see where they go. They could do storylines there. We could go see what happens, but we'll find out because now you have a tag team, possibly in Davis and Doyle, going forward. We'll find out where it goes. Let's go. Mark Briscoe is getting ready for TNT title defense. All right, we can skip that. Let's skip that. Let's go to the main event. The lights out. Oh, actually, let's talk about MJF confronting Bandito. Your thoughts on that? I look, Bandito, fresh new opponents, but he has no chance in hell in Maximum Carnage to win that Triple B from MJF. I feel bad for Bandito.
Again, same thing I saw. I love MJF. He's the reason I even give this company a chance anymore. But when I see him go out there the same shit, it's the same shit. Oh, you don't speak English, this and that. Let me tell you, amigo, I'm gonna blah blah blah. It's the same thing. Then they try to do some comedy shots that the crowd didn't get over with. I thought this segment sucked. And I hate saying it because MJF was involved, but this segment sucked.
Can I ask this? Does it feel like MJF is recycling material and he feels like he's out there being Andrew Dice Clay?
No, it feels like MJF is out there to give this company a saving chance because he's the only reason people give a shit to watch it, including myself. And I'm a day one AEW fan, but he's the only reason why people even click TBS to watch it. That's why he's the AEW champion. That's why he's out there. And he's trying to make shit. He's trying to clean shit right now. Because Bandito, really, you're going to give Bandito? That's the first opponent and, that we're going to give MJF. I get it. You can't put him with Swerve right away. But they're building up Kenny Omega and him. And Kenny Omega and him in Collision, which nobody watched because Collision fucking sucks, was an amazing match. I watched it on YouTube. It was great. So if this is a way to get MJF and Kenny, I might actually buy the pay-per-view. Whatever pay-per-view, if it's at Revolution, I might actually buy it if that's the match. But yeah, this segment was fucking terrible. And it was the same.
I know this is total Sunday or Monday morning quarterbacking. I kind of would have liked two people to reverse and swap spots. I would have liked, because it would have, again, it's total Monday morning quarterbacking. I would have liked Benjamin to win the Diamond Ring and Bandito to take on Moxley in that title eliminator, because now going into Maximum Carnage with the history that the Hurt Syndicate had with MJF and Bobby Lashley, Sheldon, and him being a part of it, and he wrestles him with the Diamond Ring, and we don't know if MJF or MVP with the cane might interfere, cause you could have maybe a 70-30 chance of Sheldon becoming AEW World Champion, which is not, where Bandito feels like he has a 5% chance of becoming AEW champion. The odds change with maybe Sheldon and him winning the Diamond Ring. I think it would have been a better, more presentation going forward. But again, that's just a typical. This is just total Monday morning quarterbacking. I would have loved that going forward, because it also would have made Sheldon has a Diamond Ring in his corner for the year. But Bandito earned it. I get it. Again, I'm not trying to take it away where Bandito has earned, but the result later down the road, I think it's hurting now Bandito a little bit for 2026. He's starting off losing on the title opportunity, where, I think it would have hurt Benjamin, because there could have been story. They could even round it back where MVP gets caught hitting with the cane, and you could still put more length on an MJF and Sheldon Benjamin matchup or feud and stretch it.
Think a little something happened here. We'll get back on track, but yeah, I kind of agree what he's saying. I think if you have Bandito and Shelton, okay, go ahead. You're here.
No. That's my point. I just said you could stretch it and give it more life or more meat on the bone with Sheldon and MJF with storytelling for weeks until the pay-per-view. Than Bandito. It feels like it'll be a one-off. Bandito loses to MJF. Bring on, now you have to find another number one contender, where you could have filled weeks of Dynamite where you could have MJF win via disqualification with a cane shot from MVP, and then they could have no MVP bound away from the ring, and they could have stretched it for more Dynamites and more storytelling than Bandito and MJF, in my opinion. But again, we'll see. We don't know, because you can't put Benjamin back in. He just lost the title eliminator. So let me jump to this title. So it's a little bit of, let's just, again, Monday morning quarterbacking, Chris. All right, as we move now, as Chris has a little bit of technical issues, as we move now into the lights out match, as Chris will join me in a second. Lights out match for Hangman and Swerve Strickland teaming up together against the Ops. This was just crazy plunder with the lights out. A lot of people wish the lights were a little bit on, but they call it a lights out to gimmicks match. Going forward, we'll see what happens as Chris is still a little bit off. We'll get him back on in a moment with that. And we'll find out with that. We're going to move on to TNA for a moment, and I'll give you a quick break. We'll reset. Hopefully, Chris gets jumping back on with us. Reset. We'll be right back. Here's a quick word.
All right, quick break. Don't go anywhere. This segment is sponsored by Dude Wipes. Whether you're grinding through work, hitting the gym, or locked in for a full night of wrestling, Dude Wipes help you stay fresh. Simple as that. Portable, convenient, and designed for real life. And of course, this show is powered by the Sports Jedi Network, independent wrestling coverage, real discussion, and a community that actually knows the product. If you rock with what we do here, support the sponsors that support the channel. Now, let's get back to the breakdown. Take it away, PGH Chris and Sports Jedi Kev.
You're watching Jedi Sports Network with Kev.
We're back. Chris will join us in a second as we got a little bit of a technical issue. He'll be joining me right back on as we're going to go now into TNA Impact on AXS TV, a end of an era.
There we go.
Comes to a complete end for the AXS TV portion of all TNA wrestling. And now we know next week they will be going to their new home on Thursday nights, AMC. But end of an era. Let's talk some Impact Zone. We have a contract signing between Mike Santana and your current TNA World Champion and Frankie Kazarian, interrupted and reminding us that he has your call your shot gauntlet in the name of Nick Nemeth. I be honest with you, Frankie Kazarian went there and he says he's also, when he stopped real serious and he calls in, he says he's also an addict. And he's addicted to championship and winning. I was like, whoa. And Santana smirked a little bit. It's like he smirked a little bit. So I'm pretty sure they conversated about that promo, that line, that zinger. Yo, your thoughts on that and the whole contract signing?
Okay, start from the contract. Okay, so yeah, I thought it was a great way to end your AXS TV era. You have three of the biggest stars going into the AMC, there. I think it was obviously a good reminder that Nick Nemeth does have that call your shot. And it's important, because that obviously has big implications going into the AMC show that's going to be highly anticipated, highly watched by a lot of people. And Genesis, and just the future of the audience of TNA. So, but you have to have him included. I don't like it, just because obviously we want Santana to finally have that run to be the face of TNA, at least if it is for a couple of months. But I think it is important to have Nick Nemeth there because look at that crowd he got when he came back to MSG for Monday Night Raw. I mean, he's a really, really recognizable talent. We've been privileged, to interview him and talk to him. I'm cool with his brother Ryan, but they got they got something to work with here in terms of unpredictability and, making us want to watch the AMC debut. And they did a good job with doing that because we saw the first time where Frankie, called his shot and he won, against Santana in that kind of odd way. And I mean, if you really want to talk about it, like I don't want to, maybe I'm thinking too deep into it because, TNA is our bread and butter, but who did Santana beat, before he lost his title to Frankie? It was Ryan Nemeth. So if Santana wins, maybe I'm thinking too hard, but that's revenge for beating his brother also. So I don't know. That's far-fetched, actually. But my point is, great way to end AMC era, and it gives a lot of people like us, what's going to happen.
Yeah, we'll find out because, look, if you're joining us here, thank you for joining us. It's never too late to hit the like, subscribe, share, and hit the notification bell so you don't, when we do these breakdowns, you could watch and see us. You can also take us with you on your audio platform. Podcasting, this will be available on audio as well. You can listen to your break, of course. And if you like, just continue to subscribe and like and share and comment on our videos. That's what we need. We will love that. Helps our algorithm and helps them know that, and the reach for broader audience, so we could have more of you guys of the community to join us and grow the community. Everyone can like who they like, and there's a cup of coffee for everyone. We're someone's cup of coffee, so hopefully we could get that coffee distributed across all different platforms here, what it's called social media and the internet. So back to where we're talking about the announcement. AJ Styles will be at the premiere for AMC in Dallas. I don't know if he's going to be at Genesis. We know Joe Henry is going to be at Genesis. He's been announced for that as well. It's going to be a star-stuck show. I believe, what was it, Perez Hilton? What's his, that guy's going to be there too. He's going to be there.
Perez Hilton, yeah.
Perez Hilton will be there, full force. He's going to, va a volar. Se va a poner, it's going to be a lot of feathers all over the place, but he'll be there, a todo color. He'll be all colorfully there, and it'll be nice to see him there, to see what he's going to bring in commentary or what interactions is going to be there.
You know how he talks?
I think I heard him. Yeah, he talks
like this.
Yeah, he's that version of RJ City. So imagine that, man. That's going to be the RJ City of TNA. Yeah, man. I wonder if they're going to bring back. I wonder if they're going to bring back the Queen of the Wing, man.
He's going to be. Look, he's going to be the fucking male elegance.
He's
gonna go. George Iceman's going to go out there. We're looking for a male elegance, and then it's going to be Perez. So that's why he's there.
Okay, I can see that. I like that.
Of course, you could see that. I mean, he ain't fucking wrestling.
Did you get it inside? Those sources told you?
No, my knowledge of pop culture told me that. There's no way Perez Hilton is getting inside of a fucking wrestling ring. Okay.
Hey, these days everybody wants to wrestle. Everybody, if you got a successful YouTube channel, you're in.
I agree. That's how you got to get in the business now. Make a YouTube channel and have 3 letters next to your name. You'll be in.
I will find out on that for TNA. We're excited for TNA though. A new chapter, but they're closing this one on AXS TV. One thing that I did notice from the AXS TV closure was the way they are. Last impression for the Knockouts division with Danny Luna. Holy shnikes. Danny Luna took out pretty much most of the women's knockout division. Start off with Harley Hudson, her partner Melanie Grace. We saw Ying Ying Lee comes out, took her out. Even Zaya Brookside. My goodness, the statement for Danny Luna in 2026. I could see Knockout Championship in her future, Chris.
Yeah. I could see it too. I liked her. I thought she had a good showing. Yeah. I don't know who else they have. We talk about it all the time. So I don't know. If they don't pull the trigger on Tessa, have Danny Luna.
And of course, we'll see what happens to that. She's taking on Ying Ying Lee at, I believe, Genesis for the Knockouts World title. Number 1 contenders, we know that the Elegance brand will take on the Inspiration. They also won at a match there. That's a rematch there. That's where we might have the Elegance man come out in Perez Hilton. They're possibly there. We know Ash is still around with the company, which is good to see Ash in some type of role with the Elegance brand. She's part of the search looking for the Elegance man. Also with we'll find out what happens because we don't know what's going on with the international title. We could, dare we say this Thursday, we might see Charlotte Hill show up on AMC with that international title.
I can't believe that's like the 5th time I've heard that today, and every time I hear it, it's just like
it's associated.
It makes me not want to watch, honestly.
But that's a possibility that could happen. We'll find out. Hopefully not. We'll find out what's going on with. We know that Shantino is disheveled. He is down in his dumps, getting betrayed by his little girl. She decided, to go with Stax and just turn on her dad. That's the storyline here with that international title. Could we see possibly Santino might be your international champion? You never know. Director Authority becomes the international champion, beats Stax and so forth. We don't know. We don't know where that goes. It's going to be interesting. We'll talk about the closeout here on AXS TV. Look, AXS TV served this purpose for getting TNA where we could see they're part of the Anthem family. They didn't cost much production. Now they're going to a bigger home, 65 million homes. They have an AMC Plus app. You can watch it there. You could also watch it on the TNA Plus app there. I believe they're like 20,000 subscribers on that TNA Plus app that pay for it. They're running on a promo code for the TNA Plus app. But you can watch it AMC. If you have regular traditional cable, you'll get that. You get the app. They're on YouTube TV, like Chris said. He's excited for that. You get to see AMC. So it's at a different time. It's no longer at 8 o'clock Eastern. They're going to be 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 Central. And that's where for TNA will be locked and loaded. I've said this. I've said it. That's where Chris Jericho will show up there some way, somehow for the AMC. Probably have a match in Genesis. And then we'll see him at Saturday night's main event for declaring for the Rumble in Montreal. I think that's where Chris Jericho everyone's worrying about. And right now let's get into SmackDown. Our final segment here, SmackDown was from Germany. We did the afternoon watch long. A lot of things happened in SmackDown. We saw debuts. We saw stages of hell. We saw title defenses. We saw new signees with their match. I want to start with this one first because it opened up the show. We saw the return of Randy Orton last week. He opens up the show and interrupted by Trick Williams. I was like, oh, now business is picking up. Your thoughts on Trick Williams and Randy Orton? Chris, I'll be 2 seconds. Give me 1 second.
I liked Randy Orton versus Trick Williams because, or not versus, but their little face-to-face interaction there, because I think it makes Trick kind of look legit. I think I've said this before. I have had problems with NXT call-ups. You know, they might not have anything to really do for them. They kind of call him up a little bit too early, but Trick's the star. Trick is to me, he's the bigger star out of all the signees, even Javon Evans and Oba. So for him to get face-to-face in the ring with Randy Orton like that, I think it solidifies Trick. It makes him legit. And people are going to want to see him even more. And I really liked how they did that there. And I don't think Randy Orton necessarily little broed him too much. Obviously, you know, he little broed him to an extent. But he even said himself, I acknowledge, no pun intended, right, that he knows that you're a star. He knows that, you know, you have some big things coming. But, you know, they're going to have that down the road. Trick's going to get built up. And then, you know, that's going to take place. But that is a great way to have Trick Williams come out there and make his name known on the main roster, going up like that against Randy Orton. I thought it was a really, really good opening segment there.
I like what you said.
My only problem is no,
go ahead.
Why the fuck did the Miz go out there and beat Randy Orton? Do not tell me that Trick and Miz are gonna freaking be somehow, some way aligned. I hate that. No, if this was a way for just the Miz to come out and get some sort of revenge for last week for him interrupting, fine. But let's not involve these two to each other, because we didn't like it with Mello, and I'm sure as hell not going to like it with this. That would be my only thing.
Interesting. I was gonna piggyback on that where I got a little bit of, it's not the same level because of course we don't know the career, it's just starting. It kind of remind me of John Cena coming out to Kirk Angle. Who the hell are you? Like kind of Trick Williams coming out to Randy Orton. You know, and I know, look, it didn't hurt Joe Hendry. Everyone complains that. I've heard Bully Ray complain on his show, Busted Open, about Joe Henry getting 2 RKOs at WrestleMania and made him look like a geek, not care about Joe Henry. His aura or his level of caring went down. People shouldn't give it credit. I disagree, because when Joe Henry shows up, he still gets that massive pop. So he really didn't lose. And one thing why I bring that comparison, and we mentioned on the watch along, Trick Williams didn't take the RKO. He got the vintage Austin DDT off the ropes, but he didn't take the RKO. The one who took it was the Miz, who came in and took it, where they kind of protected Trick Williams. Trick Williams deserves to. I don't think he could be. He's earned to stand in the ring and interrupt the Randy Orton, because he is a 2-time NXT champion and a TNA World Champion. Carried a brand and helped them. I think he's one of the main reasons why, along with everyone else, but one of the catalysts of why they got that television deal for TNA. TNA, that one of, so Trick earned his way to standing there with Randy Orton and have an opportunity for a microphone for that segment was well earned. And I enjoyed it for Trick. I enjoyed it for him. And here's the thing. When he came out, you heard Germany whoop that Trick. It was loud. It wasn't piped in. It was loud. That was loud, letting us know Trick is known internationally all across the wrestling platform, which is a good thing. He didn't come out to crickets. I'd say this. I think, and I hate to compare these two, Trick had a better introduction to the WWE Universe than Carmelo Hayes when he took on Cody Rhodes, just by the level of excitement.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I'm saying don't put him with The Miz and have him build up, right. And this was a good first way to do it. So I enjoyed everything about it.
I could give you a rebuttal towards the Miz and Trick because Miz says he's Hollywood and so is Hollywood Trick. That's the only common denominator. I know. I'm giving you a rebuttal. No, I know. We don't want to see it. Yeah. We don't want to see it. I'm with you. But I can see a rebuttal where they could stick together and maybe he gets wised up with. Listen, I'm going to say this again. I am one of the few don't want to see Trick and Carmelo yet. Everybody's like, oh, you open the challenge, Carmelo and Trick. I don't. I want to see the Trick Mello gang get together. I want them to go together, wreak havoc, and build a storyline where they come and they have their feud. I don't need it in an open challenge. I want to see this in storytelling, and I want them, the Trick Mello gang, to come together
100%.
Rather than them giving to me on a random code open challenge. And yeah, it'll be a quick pop, but I want Trick Mello gang together strong. That's just me.
No, I agree 100%. I agree.
All right. Well, speaking about debuts, we had that match with Rey Fenix. Trick Williams get the victory. Doesn't totally put his total finisher on Rey Fenix. He uses the roll-up and hooks the tights like the heel should and gets his debut victory for Trick Williams. Off to the races for the Trick Down. Trick Down, yes. SmackDown will be called Trick Down because Trick Williams is on the roster. Signed, ready to go. I love it. You see, come on. Miz is designated gatekeeper now. Trick is going to get stuck with the Miz for at least one match. I mean, you need him to hit. If you want, let me ask this. Do you rather see Trick Williams hit his finisher on Rey Fenix and beat him, or the Miz and do his finisher to introduce Trick Williams? I like the roll-up because it protected Rey Fenix still. And if he's going to do his finisher, let it be on the Miz. Where Miz is trying to bamboozle him and say, like he's trying to get him into Hollywood. Man, I've been in Hollywood. I heard I'm friends. And that's how you get the Trick Mello gang back together. The Miz is going to play a big part, like it or not. I think he's going to play a big part for the short term for Trick Williams on the roster. Either that or Joe Henry. I think he's done with Joe Henry, but maybe now it's Trick's turn. We'll see what happens going forward. A debut to me that I was happy for. I was felt genuinely, warmly happy for her signing with SmackDown. Was the one and only the Juggernaut. Jordynne Grace now is going to be seen on a global platform each and every Friday nights. Her not for nothing, no pun intended. Her impact hopefully is felt on SmackDown for Jordynne Grace. Let's go right into it. She gets into it with Chelsea Green, the former TNA colleagues, knockouts, but it has a match now with Alba Fire, which kind of felt like we saw the handwriting on the wall, Chris. Alba Fire, Jordynne Grace. Jordynne Grace showcased a little bit. I saw a little nerves from Jordan, naturally so, because it's a first SmackDown. If you don't get a first impression, I thought Jordynne was fine. Out comes Jade Cargill, teasing, getting in her face. I wish I would have seen Jordynne Guyan a little more emotionally upset. She just stood there like a deer in the headlights in a moment. I felt that with Jade trying to intimidate her, unless if that's what they were going for. Maybe that's for us as a viewer to feel sympathy for Jordynne Grace and want her to rally for this obstacle bad bitch that is Jade Cargill. Chris, your thoughts?
It was fun. It was a good way to introduce Jordynne Grace, like you said. And I mean, I've been saying it for a while. She should have been on SmackDown. She shouldn't have been on NXT that long. And Alba Fire, she's kind of becoming useless. I understand she's going to be there to take the pin, but it's not going to be a competitive match. Well, but you don't really need that right away from her right now. So this is just a good way to get her introduced. So I agree. I like it. It was a good way.
Yeah, because you could tell that Alba Fire's becoming useless because of the booking. Because if you see her career on
Right.
NXT UK and Albert Kaylee Ray, then she came up with Isla Dawn. They she's another one who puts on some awesome matches. If they really were to tell the right story for Alba Fire, she's on that level. She can have a great match with Io Sky, and you're like, oh damn,
Mm.
you know. And I could, but they're not right now. She's stuck, not stuck. She's okay, and she's being a good soldier, going to what they gave her, being part of
Yeah.
Secret Harvest with Chelsea Green, and she's doing what she needs to do. What is asked of creative and what is needed, and it's going to hurt her career. We could say yes, we could agree to it, but doesn't take away that what she performs in the ring. She's really one of those great, good hand female wrestlers for the WWE. I hate to say that for Kaylee Ray, aka Alba Fire, for her, but for Jordan Grace, great way to bring her in right before the Rumble, where we know she made two years ago she debuted, and my goodness, she caught us all off guard in that Tampa when we heard that. I wish they would give her back her Juggernaut introduction music, but it's not Def Rebel. I hate that one. I don't like her introduction music for one bit. I hope that some way somehow they could get her something better. Upgrade. It's okay to have the sirens on her. She sound when you think of Jordan Grace, you want those sirens like, oh, the Juggernaut warning, some type, because she is a Juggernaut. Book her like a Juggernaut. Let's go for Jordan Grace. We are so happy for her being on the main roster. That is a good one here. Let's talk about something here from SmackDown. We're gonna get to the stages of hell, but before that, let's go with Matt Cardona. We saw him. He's in Germany. Made that promo. He's going to be part of they announced a number one contenders match with a couple of opponents, a couple of people in that bracket. I like that they're already thinking ahead for us. To see that Mike Cardona talk to Cody, to see them backstage with each other. Matt Cardona is going to bring something to Friday nights, and that's a smart move. I just wanted to bring emphasis on Matt Cardona, Chris.
Yeah. Nothing much to add there. I agree 100%.
We saw we saw the MFTs taking on the Wyatts. The match, I know everybody rolls their eyes. I kind of like the ending. I like that Solo left with the lantern and caused that distraction.
That was funny. I even said that when he went. Like, that was funny. Yeah. The ending. Yeah, the match was boring, but the ending was good. I agree 100%.
The match was good, and but here's the thing: it left to be continued. That's the one thing that, because he took the lantern, or could we see that's the end of the Wyatts? I don't know. How did you interpret it?
I would hope that's the end. I think to be continued. This has been going on for a while. I mean, dude, at one point we all thought this was going to be the War Games match.
But now it leaves the Wyatts looking for that lantern back. And now that's why I said to be continued, because they have to get their lantern. Unless the lantern takes it where Solo just takes it and takes it to his islands of relevancy, and that's the end of that.
Yeah, I could see that.
It could go any way possible. Open for interpretation, you think?
Yeah, that's a better way to put it.
Okay, Matt, let me read this. Matt is another one of Cody's bros. They try hard to get him on the wrong time, and Matt path down the indies. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see where Matt Cardona and Cody, as we read that comment. Let's go right into the main event. Carmelo Hayes had a good open challenge match. We know that with Shinsuke Nakamura, banger of a match there. Shinsuke doesn't really put on a bad match, keep it in short spurts. Carmelo continues to build. I think that's what's going to happen with like you said, you want to see some more stories with the U.S. title. When we mentioned the stories are the promos leading into those men in that I keep saying North, United States title picture, where we saw Ilya Dragunov and Carmelo being teased for a run back. We've seen Gargano, Ciampa on his way out. We know he's leaving soon, but maybe he'll have one more title run, an opportunity, and not go over, and then we won't see him. Whatever the case is, other wrestlers and so forth, we'll find out where that goes. But there is story, but it's not with the wrestlers in the ring. It's with happening on the vignettes, on the promos for the United States title. Afterwards, we'll go right into the stages, the 3 stages of hell. with Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre, where we crown a new Undisputed World Champion. I know I left out the Julia match. Look, it wasn't much of a Julia won. It wasn't much of something to really take and dissect. Julia's going to be told wrong. It's going to be now right the wrongs with her, and we'll see where that goes. We reserve our rights to wait on Julia, but that's why we're going into the 3 stages of Hell World Title match. The first match, classic wrestling. Chris, your thoughts there? Although Drew used the low blow behind the referee's back and got the Claymore.
I liked it. I thought, yeah, let's talk about the first fall. So the first one was good. I liked it. It didn't go too long because we knew that the steel cage match was coming. So they didn't make that one too long, and it was kind of, I like that Drew got the first fall because it wasn't like, okay, Cody Rhodes wins. Like, they're not going to give Drew 2 pinfalls over Cody. So it made it more interesting. So I like Drew getting the first pinfall already. It's like you beat the champion, you pin the champion, and then you kind of rally behind Cody if you like him, which I don't. So, yeah, I like the first fall. The first fall was good, and I like Drew getting the Claymore to win.
Yeah, and the way he did it, because he knocked off the turnbuckle, and the top turnbuckle exposed. Referee went to try to put it back or turn his back, and he got hit, and boom, you get the first fall. We thought on the live broadcast it was going to be a whatchamacallit type of deal, as we got Rain joining us here in the background. Let me bring her in for a minute.
Oh, no.
What's up, Rain? We're going to do a little SmackDown talk. How are you?
I couldn't figure out how to get in. And I was, okay, I'm good. I saw that you guys were talking about something that interested me, and I'm like, wait a minute.
Let me see if I could get to you guys.
In.
All right, here we go. We're talking about the main event with the stages of hell. We talked about the first stage.
Okay. Good. It was pretty good. Good for. I wasn't expecting. Honestly, I wasn't expecting Drew McIntyre to win. I felt like that. No, thank you. I'm very despeinada. I just woke up. Anyway, yeah, I wasn't expecting them to win. I wasn't expecting Drew to win. So that was a good first match. I was disappointed. Hey, please stop. I was disappointed because I didn't think that the Cody Rhodes era was over. But I think it was a good match for what it was, especially a televised event like a Friday. Like, it wasn't like a pay-per-view.
Okay, so we got the first match in, so wasn't expecting that for the 3 stage of hell. We'll go into the second stage of hell, which was Falls Count Anywhere. As you see them wrestling throughout the whole arena. That spot from Cody Rhodes, where he jumped off with the a la Jimmy Superfly Snuka, right on top of Drew McIntyre, was a good spot there. It was like, oh, damn. The banana spot where they fought in the back, and it was the catering. And they used the banana right on Drew McIntyre hits. Your thoughts, Chris, when Cody with the cutter on the table and all the whole Falls Count Anywhere?
I like this Falls Count Anywhere being the second fall because we talked about it yesterday during the watch along. They got everywhere in the arena. So it was a good way to utilize the whole arena to, get them back into the second fall. And then, yeah, we knew the third stage was coming with the steel cage, like I said. So it was a good fall. I liked it.
I feel like they've had better feuds though, where they've gone out to the crowd, and I was actually surprised that they didn't really do that. I don't know. It was a good match, but I wasn't watching like the whole entire time where I felt like, dang, like this is a close one. But it was a good match, yes, but I expected them to go like crazy, like CM Punk and Drew McIntyre had a Hell in a Cell match. That was crazy. So I expected something close to that, like brutal. They hate each other.
Which on that fall, on the second fall, or because we're gonna get to the cage in the second. Was it the second fall you're talking about that you felt?
Yeah, Falls Count Anywhere.
Okay, because the second fall, I like the fact that they went around the arena because they're gonna get they're going to be now. If you're like in the second bow area up high, you could see the better view from the cage. But if you're in the lower level or flat, you're not gonna see much because you're gonna be obstructed by the cage. So the Falls Count Anywhere, and they're going into the crowd and wrestled all around. I felt was good for the people getting their money's worth. Oh wow, they're gonna have an opportunity for photo ops, getting invested. Oh, this was awesome because they're not gonna remember. They're gonna be so excited for the moment that they had. They're not gonna remember. They're gonna be obstructed their view with the cage if it makes sense. If you understand where I'm going with it.
Oh, so they fought in the crowd because I missed that part because I didn't see that they fought in the crowd. I missed that part.
Yeah, they did. That's where Cody did the off the top ropes, off the second onto the table with the snooker and then they went to the backstage with the gate and they put that's the banana reference that I mentioned earlier, and they had put it over and then they brought it back and Cody gets the pin and we have a fall 1-1. Smart that Cody grabs Drew and brings him back in as the cage lowers down. We get into the third fall. To this point right now, there is no interference. Because we talked about on the watch along, I could see in the falls kind of anywhere where it's some type of interference that Drew loses because someone's gonna hit him. I thought I were gonna get an Obafemi, come out and do something. There was reports of Jacob Fatu, where we will find out in the cage that he comes out. But all in all, let's talk about the cage match. We know Fatu comes out at the end, but all in all, the cage match, Chris, that freaking Cody cutter from the top rope from Cody, whoa, there was some good spots in the cage match.
Yeah, that cutter was good. I know we talked about that yesterday. Look, it was a fun match, but I want to talk about Jake. I'm gonna talk to the Jacob part because I'll let we all can get some thoughts here. I don't know what they're gonna do with Jacob because you can kind of see it both ways. He attacked Cody and Drew. That's the part that interests me, and we talked about it yesterday, off air. I don't know if this is a possible way to get Cody heel or some way because I don't know why did he go after Cody? Does
That's
he think
what I'm.
Cody?
Yeah.
No. I exactly. That's the first thing that popped into my head when he went after Cody. I was like, whoa, why is he going after Cody? Drew's kind of the one. Drew's the one that got him out. Drew's the reason why he's out. Unless he thinks Cody, I don't know. Unless he thinks Cody and Drew, or like it could be something where Jacob maybe thinks that Cody's out to get him too. So that's the one thing that stood out to me in the entire steel cage match.
All right, go ahead, Rain. I'll get your thoughts on the cage.
Yeah, go ahead, Rain, because I know
eerie.
you kind of agreed with that because that's the first thing that kind of popped up when he went after Cody. I was like, why the hell is he going after Cody?
Yeah, we know Cody, and Cody doesn't like unfair matches, so I understand why Cody was kind of like, "What are you doing here?"
Right? Yeah.
Like, baby,
and like especially to attack him too. Like he's probably like, what? That 50 Cent meme? Like,
what'd you say, bug me?
Like that's probably what he's thinking right now.
Yeah, I know Jacob Fatu was like, oh my God, like at the end, like, like, oh my God. And it was just like, like, I'm glad that he's back, but it was like, close the door, bro, close the door.
Yeah.
So, like always, I feel like, we have a lot of like masterminds and Drew McIntyre, the fans, this is long awaited. Like the fans are like, finally, Drew McIntyre wins. And I just felt again like I didn't think the American Nightmare era was over. I hope that Drew has a long-lasting title reign though, because if it's like they take it away from him on next SmackDown, then this was kind of pointless. But yeah, I do agree. Why is Fatu there? Why did he attack Cody? And I wonder what he's gonna say on like if I don't know if he's gonna come to SmackDown or Raw. What if he comes to Raw and he's like, I did this because of this and this and this and the whole entire, So hopefully we get some answers on why he attacked Cody and if Drew was the one that actually attacked him and what we're going to do about that. And what are we going to do are we going to do a rematch for Cody? Because I feel like it was a little unfair. There was an interference and I feel like.
So I actually thought, I talked about that yesterday a little bit with Kev. I think what they could do a couple things here. It's, do they have Cody Rhodes win the Elimination Chamber? Does Drew McIntyre hold that title past the Royal Rumble? I don't know. Do we get a Cody and Drew rematch at the Rumble? Do we get a Fatu? Do we get a fucking triple threat? We could, right? There are so many things, and that's kind of why I think a lot of people wanted Drew McIntyre to win. It wasn't because me, at least, it wasn't because that I can't stand Cody. I don't want him to be champion. This gives us something to talk about going into the Royal Rumble, going into WrestleMania, because I think we can all agree the same thing last year. We were all kind of having this thing Oh, okay. What are we doing? What are we doing? Rhea Ripley loses the title on a random Monday Night Raw. And all of a sudden, they had the best WrestleMania match, right? So there are a bunch of things that they could do here, but I wouldn't be surprised if they do run this match at WrestleMania. If they have, Jacob and
Like a
Drew
triple
at the
threat.
Rumble, they could be, but because they could, and I would prefer to have a triple threat reign. And here's my reason why: we do not want Cody Rhodes to win the Royal Rumble 3 years in a row. Can you really? And again, Roman Reigns got eliminated. Seth Rollins got eliminated. John Cena fucking got eliminated. So there's no reason why you can't have Cody Rhodes in the Royal Rumble and have him maybe be one of the final 4, but get eliminated. Have him win the Elimination Chamber. If Punk's not going to be in it because he's going to be the world champion, boom, he picks Drew. I don't know,
like
Kev. What do you think?
I like what you're thinking, because here's piggyback a little bit of it. They already announced for number 1 contenders for the next 2 weeks in the European tour, if I'm not mistaken, heading into Saturday night's main event. You're gonna have
Right,
number 1 contender qualifier match. We've got Randy Orton versus The Miz, Matt Cardona versus Trick Williams. You've got Ilya Dragunov taking on Sami Zayn, who's hell bent to want to be a world champion because he cut that promo and a week before, and they interviewed him last night. You got Solo Sikoa versus Damian Priest. I'm on the lines with you. I think we're getting a triple threat at Royal Rumble in Saudi. I think it's going to be. I think the winner right now, looking at this tournament, I know it's going to say, "Oh, Sami Zayn looks like the clear cut winner in this triple to be in that triple threat as the number 1 contender." Because I think Cody's going to be one of those members. It's going to be Cody, Drew, and the winner of this tournament in that triple threat at Saudi. I think it's Randy Orton. And I think this is where Randy is going to lead to the match for WrestleMania between Randy and Cody.
That's another person that we're leaving out, and the whole Jacob and thing. Like, I don't know what if he's going to do his thing. Go ahead, Rain.
What if? Hold on, because I know we all remember, and I got this picture on deck.
Yes, Randy.
Yeah, Randy. Oh,
What
looking
if-
at the title.
What if it's like, oh, I got your back, but then he just turns into demon mode, like, like vintage Randy Orton, and then
And he
wins
will
the title.
eventually.
I mean, because he's not old, but he is getting there where I feel like he's probably gonna retire soon. But even before that, I think that if anything, if he does hold it until WrestleMania, there is no confirmed day about Clash of the Castle. But I know that he's definitely going to be, like, Drew McIntyre is definitely going to be part of Clash of the Castle. Because, I mean, they do it over there where, he's from. So I feel like this Drew McIntyre reign is not going to be something short. It's going to be probably a year long or more. Especially because he's been waiting since 2020 to get, like, a title shot. And I feel like the Nightmare era has been, like, 2 years now. About to be 3? 2 years?
Yeah, you could say, because he had that WrestleMania 40, then he lost to Cena. He's been around 3 years, but strong in that top main event seat. But again, I go back to this reign.
It's gonna be interesting, but he's gonna be on top, I think, and it's gonna upset a lot of fans. But I really do feel like he deserves it, and I feel like the title deserves a heel run because I feel like the title has been babyface for so long.
But here's the thing. I always go back to this. They didn't spend a lot of money doing this WrestleMania promo with all those top heavy hitters if they're not going to be in the main event picture. Drew wasn't in that video. Neither was Randy Orton. So, but you could put them in how? Punk, Drew, won for the World Heavyweight title. If I think Drew is not going to title reign for Drew is not going to be long. They're going to give him the Jey Uso type of run. I don't know when it's going to be trigger pull, and I think Cody's going to take on Randy Orton for that title at WrestleMania. I don't know how they're going to do it in the Rumble, so forth. And by the way, it's not 3 years in a row. It's 3 out of the 4 years for Cody Rhodes if he wins the Rumble. Remember, Jey Uso won it last year. I wanted to make that correction because we tend to forget Jey Uso won the Rumble last year, Chris. So we'll see, because tonight Drew is at Glasgow. I believe they're having a house show, and he's there as world champion. He posted that on picture, so he's happy with that. For Drew, I don't know how long the title reigns will be at Royal Rumble or Elimination Chamber. I think he's not going to go. He's not going past Elimination Chamber with that title. I think he's,
Yeah, I don't either. And look, you can always have a championship match at Elimination Chamber. I mean, they did it with Roman and Sami Zayn. I mean, you can have it at the Elimination Chamber. I would just, I'm just, I don't know. I'm just confused on because I kind of not forgot about Randy Orton until Rain brought it up, but it's like, well, when's he gonna have his match with Cody? So like, I don't know. I kind of thought this year would be the year. Again, do they need the championship to have it? No, but in a sense, it's like they do because it's like they do, they don't, right? Because the story by itself doesn't. But when you think about Randy Orton's always going to be little bro to Cody. He could be the face of the company. All he wants. He could be this and that, all he wants, but he's still going to be little bro. So I think, Cody as the champion, it's like it puts more pressure on Cody and it makes the story interesting because, mentor, mentee, mentee's the champion. Now it's like, can the mentee really hold his ground? So I'm excited to see it when it does happen.
It's kind of giving Asuka and like just the mentor mentee. It's kind of giving like Asuka and Io Sky. It's kind of like, let's see.
Yeah, and that match still hasn't happened yet. So yeah. It is given like like that because the both matches haven't happened and we won them. So no, I agree. That's a good comparison. I agree.
Really quick. I'm happy that I was actually really surprised that he won. I'm not upset about it. I just feel like like it wasn't, I felt like it wasn't predictable. Like I thought, okay, Cody Rhodes is going to win again, whatever. But then I was surprised when he won and we didn't even get from what I saw. And, I wasn't really, I guess, and I saw it twice and I don't know why I was kind of not paying attention. Again, it wasn't my favorite match, but it wasn't bad. We didn't get the fireworks. We didn't get like I don't know how long this.
Because I thought the story was that when he won the title, Jacob Fatu got in the ring and allowed the Drew McIntyre to go off the ring, and the way he got his title was kind of slithery because he slithered. Yeah. He was on his floor going back, so it really wasn't a strong. It wasn't a strong moment to put fireworks him on the floor. So and that's why I didn't really call the mood wasn't set up or the stage wasn't set up for the fireworks finale for a Drew McIntyre. You really like how aesthetic would it look him dragging himself on the floor with the title and the fireworks going.
Because I thought maybe like he's slithering back because kind of like Becky kind of did the same thing. She kind of rolled out of there and then she like at the front she raised her title in the.
And then and Drew wasn't on his feet when the shots. If you recall when
that's
USA Network was leaving, he was still on his floor on his ass. He wasn't on his. Like, bro, he didn't get up.
Get up.
That's
bro. Like,
that's that must have been that was probably done on purpose by creative. They wanted to give that shot of him winning by the skin of his teeth on his ass. And I mentioned this to Chris when we were doing a watch along. I think the winner. I think if anything, Drew wins by touching the floor, not pinning Cody, because now it keeps Cody hot. It keeps or even Drew. I said it. The winner of the match is going to win by winning going off that damn cage. And I remember we were talking about the rules because it's going to help. The loser's not going to totally lose because they didn't get the 1, 2, 3 pin.
Yeah.
So it's because he walked out of the cage, like the way Seth took out Roman took out Seth out of the cage when he beat Punk. So I figured that was there. But to talk about Jacob Fatu, which I didn't give my thoughts on Jacob, was to me by him going in there, he doesn't trust anyone. Remember, he's about that life. So I don't know who took me out yet. I don't know if it was you. I don't know if you felt threatened because you've been fucking with my family for years. You knocked off my tribal chief. The family tribe, the in Roman. And I don't know if you took him out. I don't know, Drew, because someone took me out and I ain't going to ask. I'm going to kick ass and ask names later on who did it. So I think that's Jacob Fatu's mentality coming in. And you threw hands on me, I'm going to defend. I'm going to knock anyone in my way because somebody's going to get these hands for taking me out of the picture. I think that's the way I perceive Jacob Fatu going in there. Not babyface, not heel. Everybody's got an equal opportunity to get their ass kicked. Fair? Yeah, I mean, there you go. That's what I did. Yeah. So we'll find out where Jacob goes, where he travels. It's a nice side quest for Cody and Jacob. I just hope they don't feed Cody Jacob so he could pin, where Cody super Cena's and then we don't think of Jacob. I kind of need something, hope they do that correctly. Announcement. Ava. After vacating the title by Obafemi, Ava will address the future of NXT title this Tuesday. So we don't know what it is. So they're not probably gonna tell you what's gonna happen that Tuesday unless they say for the main event tonight, Battle Royal, or for the following Tuesday after the AMC debut. So I don't know if we're going to see the men's NXT title on AMC this Thursday.
Nah, Kev, we won't because we were talking about that earlier in the show. I don't think. Yeah.
All right. So
I think it was very poetic how he put it down and left. I mean, he left on top. I don't know where he's gonna be because it doesn't say that he's well, we don't know yet, but it doesn't say he's a free agent. It doesn't say he's moved up. There's so many possibilities for him.
where would you like him to see him? Which brand? If it was you, if you had your choosing.
I feel like everyone should start on SmackDown and then work their way up to Raw because I feel like Raw's their bigger show. I feel
Chris
like
said
it's
the same thing.
illegal to like, unless they're a big. I mean, we got Stephanie Bakir on Raw, but that I feel like that's justified. But again, we need more storyline on SmackDown. We don't need more people on Raw. I feel like we have enough people on Raw that aren't being used properly.
Fair on that one.
Said the same exact thing.
I know.
Yeah,
I was listening in, and I'm just copying what you're saying.
No, but I like that. I was fair what you said there because, again, and I said this too, the chemistry and the matches with everyone on SmackDown working NXT from pay-per-views, from PLEs, and house shows and TV, and then they could translate that on SmackDown where people could start getting invested in their story and like, man, these guys could really break the house down in the storytelling. And then then you got the proper introduction, then having cold matches or the gatekeeper Miz, interacting and getting everyone acclimated to the main roster. Where people don't care about Miz, then you're not going to care about the talent working with the Miz. That's what I'm afraid of. I hope that doesn't happen in 2026 going forward. Anything else from the world of wrestling that we missing or hearing? Any rumors or anything that you've seen or heard other than Chris Jericho where he shows up? To me, I still think it's TNA. I'm sticking with it.
Can we talk about? I want to talk about two things. I met Nikita Lyons. She's NXT.
Mm-hmm.
And I really think that she has a bright future ahead of her. She was like, aside from being a nice person, I really do think that she has the talent, and she's also multi-talented outside of wrestling. She does like singing, she does like choreography. I really do like that WWE is kind of picking up people that has multi-talent. She was also in Becky Lynch's video. I don't know if you noticed that, where she's like, Becky is real IC champ. So seeing her getting more and more like camera time has been amazing, and I'm really excited to see what the Lion does because she really she was before they start recording those like 3 minute, like the 2 to 3 minute matches before SmackDown starts, Raw, because it was Raw. She was wrestling. So
main event. She wrestled the main event.
Yeah, she was. Is it main event? Is that
Mm-hmm.
what it's called?
That's what happens. That's what's recorded before Monday Night Raw main event.
I'm calling it Speed. But yeah, she was awesome. So hopefully, she comes up. And I'm excited to see her win titles or just get more screen time on NXT. I don't think she's main roster yet, but definitely want to see her, get something up there. And then aside from that, I want to talk about Matt Cardona. I probably missed it when you guys were talking about it.
Yeah, we've been on here for 2 hours. We talked about pretty much.
I was taking a good nap. Look, Kevin texted me at 1:30, and I was wrestling John Cena in my sleep. Excited to see him back. It was surprising, Kevin, because remember when we saw each other at the TNA show?
Yeah.
He had just done the My Time Is Now tournament literally like that same week or the week before. So I was
that's
like, wow.
That same Friday.
Same Friday. So I didn't expect him to be there. But do you think, because he's already like, I'm going to get a title. Do you think that we're going to have him actually like that, like so fast in a main event / title picture?
As of not, he's in the number one contender matchup. Mm-hmm. I think he's going to help. I think Trick is going over on that. I think Cardona doesn't care about taking the pins right now. He just want to be signed. I think the story for Cardona is going to come out later in the year. Right now, you're welcome back tour, and then he's going to start. Then he's going to. I don't think right now for Cardona right now. Although he's friends, they saw that interaction with Cody Rhodes backstage, and so forth. Listen, I wouldn't be surprised if Cardona is like one of the final 4 at the Royal Rumble who left, but I don't think he's in the main event picture yet. We still got to build him. We got to build him and stretch his indie gods situation for Cardona.
I think it's too fast because he literally was like, "I'm here for the WWE Championship." And I'm like, whoa,
No, that's fine. He should be. That's the right thing to say. Lorraine, that's the right thing to say. He's not gonna say I'm here for the paycheck. I like the fact that he said he's coming for the gold, and I like that he's in that number 1 contenders, but I don't think he's gonna hit the main event scene yet.
I would like to see a feud with him and Aleister Black because I'm tired of Aleister, and
that could be where could be something. That could be something down the line where a Selena's getting involved, and now you could bring a Chelsea involved into that. If we could. But you have to listen. You mentioned Aleister, so you have to come back that he's a package deal with Selena. So
I was more thinking of it this way, like, okay, so for some reason he's fighting Damian Priest again, and he comes and somebody interferes like Selena, but Rhea's on Raw. So, and I know she's come out on SmackDown. The person who comes out is obviously doesn't attack Selena because that's not allowed, but is Matt Cardona.
Well, I think that feud is over. That ambulance feud is over. Those guys are done.
Hopefully, but you never know because we had this same thing with Carmelo and Andrade. They fought 7 damn times.
Yeah, but I don't think they'd said a bet. They kind of worded. I think the ambulance match was the blow off match. I don't think they'll run it back because I think they did talk about it. They recapped it. But they did recap it on Friday Night SmackDown, and now Damian is moving on. They told him he's done, and he actually said on a backstage interview, he's moving on to the world title picture. Now he's going to the world title picture. So unless if he interferes in the world title picture, which I don't see it, or it could be, it could open. Anything is possible.
It could be again him and Cardona because he's like, I'm going for the world title. Cardona's like, I'm going for the world title. And
yeah, they're in the tournament.
Just got here, So it's so many ways. I'm excited to see what they do with him, and hopefully they don't make him just a person in the background because he deserves so much more.
I think after the world, I could see him if the open challenges stay around. I could see Cardona answering open challenge now in the near future. We'll see with that. What
do you think, Chris?
I mean, what did I say a couple hours ago?
He's like, I already said that 2 hours ago.
Yeah, I already did.
Girl.
I think he's just going to be there to be a solid mid-card guy for the brand for now. I'm not saying he's not going to fight Cody Rhodes in a big main event, match because he will.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he's going to be that guy, to get the tricks rolling, all that, and then he'll get his shot. But he's going to be a big time player for SmackDown, no doubt. And look, he could even implicate him in Monday Night Raw for a special occasions if you want to. So. I think he'll be good.
How are we feeling about Kit Wilson? I like him.
He's gonna grow. He's gonna grow. Look, him and Elton Prince, Pretty Deli were a good tag team. I liked them. I enjoyed them, but just they didn't resonate in the main on Raw on SmackDown. Hopefully, Kit Wilson could get over with his toxic masculinity.
And that's a good start with Matt Cardona and Kit Wilson because he's like
there you go. I could see that there. But we're gonna wrap up. I know Chris got to get going, and we're gonna get wrapped up here. We appreciate we appreciate everyone. Let's look whether it's your wrestling favorite show or any of that. It was a crazy week. Hopefully, I know some of us enjoyed most of it. Some of us didn't, but I thought it was just entertaining. That's what wrestling does. That's what wrestling is about. Don't forget, we want to thank everyone tonight for our show. It was made possible by Dude Wipes as they continue to support the Sports Jedi Network community. If you enjoyed the discussion, make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, and share the stream with other wrestling fans. Join our Discord. Follow us on all our social media platforms as you see it there on the video description. And from all of us here, we want to thank you for watching, supporting, liking, or if you didn't like, thank you for joining us anyway. This has been the Sports Jedi Network, ladies and gentlemen, and we out. May the sports be with you, and may God bless you all.
Represento las calles de